All right. Our powers have combined.
And
And
Flashpoint is a thing.
it's a thing. It has happened.
I need the words
And
are
we
hard.
are
It's still early.
Ebontis Flashpoint returns, man. What is going on? How you doing, sir?
Oh, pretty good, pretty good. Just getting to the end of a week. Just not enough time to do all the things in Destiny, but had got a nice little checkbox done this week, so that was pretty cool. Got a completely surprising one I'll get into a little bit later. But yeah, just a really, really busy week in Destiny. So we'll get into everything that's going on. What about you, man? I know you got some stuff
Yeah,
going on.
yeah, a lot going on, and didn't get a chance to play a lot of Destiny. Maybe wanted to get like at least a whole weekend. I only got maybe two days in, a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there. So it wasn't the type of blaze I wanted, you know what I'm saying? But I got to touch a little bit, and we definitely got to get into those topics as far as what's going on with this current week, right? It's just so much. It's so much to do. Man, it's like overwhelming, and I had limited time on top of it. So I'm not happy. I got to get some more Destiny in, man. Absolutely, but lot of stuff going on, and just wanted to start off real briefly as far as like kind of like a little brief channel update, you know what I'm saying, as far as what's going on with the lords and everything like that. Obviously been living under a rock, you know what I'm saying. Announcements kind of went out on social media, and pretty much effective immediately. We're going to be doing a lot of the pretty much the ILP content on the ILP channel. So the podcast before was on Tick. We're now going to do it on live on Sundays. The Lord's Day will return here. Flashpoint will remain here, as well as combat talk with the king and other stuff we got cooking. And I definitely want to give a shout out to the entire Ticket Network. Everyone over there, whether it be the affiliates, the writers, the website. I mean, it's been tremendous, man. Tremendous love. It's no beef, nothing like that. It's just a mutual decision. And one thing I really want to say is those guys really, really rock with us. We've been there for a couple years, and I really want to send a salute to the team and to be thank you for the opportunity. You know what I'm saying? Absolutely, Cal. Sam Tur, I got a lot of friends over there, man. You know what I'm saying? Undead, Brab, all these guys. You know what I'm saying? I really want to shout these guys out because at the end of the day, those guys help make me better. Also, a pleasure working with them. So it's gonna be cool, man. It's gonna be cool. Looking forward to the future. We got a lot of stuff planned for ILP, so I'm excited about that and the team. And Flashpoint ain't going nowhere. So yeah, man, I just wanted to get that out. And again, much love to the Tick Network. And like I said, please stay tuned for IOP. Still got a lot of stuff cooking. Still got some grand ideas that we're trying to get off the ground. And just stick with us on our journey, man. And that's pretty much what I wanted to say on the business side. But yeah, man. Other than that, like I said, just Destiny and all these games coming out. Looks like what we got Red Dead next week
Oh
and
man, yep.
Call of Duty this week, and Call of Duty looks good. Did you get a chance to see any of that stuff?
I got Call of Duty. Picked that one up because a friend of mine they're playing it a
Hmm.
pretty good amount. I played like one round of zombies.
Hmm.
That was a completely different start, but kind of a cool one. But
Hmm.
Blackout is just fun. It's honestly like a polished version of PUBG,
Hmm.
and for me,
Talk to me.
it's honestly like it feels pretty good. There's nothing that I mean,
Mm-hmm.
nothing's gonna be perfect by any means, but take what PUBG did. You have the military shooter. Give it a
Mm-hmm.
AAA version of like polish, and they've got a
Mm-hmm.
couple more vehicles in there. The helicopter's kind of fun. The actual had like projectiles as opposed to hit scan on things. So I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it has kind of a cool feel to the game. So it's a twist on Call of Duty, and then on top of that, you see somebody like Skill Up doing his review saying like the
Mm-hmm.
multiplayer section, just the good old PvP stuff is some of the
Mm-hmm.
best it's felt. It's kind of back to the Modern
Wow.
Warfare, Modern Warfare 2, and people are really just like
Mm.
on board with Call of Duty, and it's just like it's crazy. So I mean,
Mm.
it sold what was it, 500 million on the first day, like the number that I saw sitting out there. So that
Yeah.
one's crazy. And then you got Red Dead, which is the only thing that has upset Call of Duty in the past forever. So
That's so much so that they moved their release date.
yeah, I mean, it's like, but I mean, everybody is moving around. It's like you see, I mean, the stuff coming out the news about the 100-hour weeks, which then a lot of people are
Oh
coming
yeah.
back saying
Oh
not
yeah.
so much.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, and you sure, I mean, you hear about crunch, and it's kind of a thing in programming and gaming,
Yeah.
especially for
Yeah.
the developers and stuff like that. But it sounds like a lot of the ones have come out and said it's like, there may be some overtime. It's like could be asked, never been close to 100, maybe more than
Mm-hmm.
normal. But I mean, you're gonna have some of those times. But it sounds like, I mean, unless they're just picking and choosing who's answers the questions, which of course they could be. I mean, you're never quite going
Never
to get the
know,
whole
right?
story, but in
Right.
general, it sounds like A lot of people do enjoy it. So,
Look at Ebontis on top of the news. Look at you. You ready to branch off through that game and news channel? I
man,
see.
I stay on top of it. I just keep it to myself usually.
I like it. I like it. Literally stole every word out of my mouth. So yeah, man, I
You're like, feel
appreciate
free
that.
to throw anything else in there. You're like, no, I have nothing left. Thank you.
Literally, you just like knocked it out the park, and literally is going to be a talking point for IOP at one point as well. But yeah, man, I'm in complete agreement with you. Crunch is part of the game, and again, like you said, you never can tell with these things. Saying like some people agree with the account, and some people like that conditions are not like that, and they have personal things. Sometimes maybe it's in the middle, but at the end of the day, at least as an IT guy, what I'm saying, I can speak for myself that, when you have big projects or big migrations and big releases and stuff like that, it is kind of assumed that there's going to be that period of crunch where you're expected to, do extra work and stuff like that. So, hopefully these guys, well, from what I was told, would, get OT and do all that good stuff and
Hmm.
and get compensated for their work. And hopefully it's not like any type of year-long thing. And hopefully this thing is just overblown. But at the end of the day, a good game seems to be birthing out of this.
60-hour
And
story is like, oh my god.
yeah, man, I almost was gonna make that a segment for Flashpoint. I was gonna talk to you, which was like, the in the pending competition. Like I was obviously, we have the these are things
I
we
mean,
look.
we're in it
It's
right
funny.
now. We may as well start. I mean, yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. Let's do a little long point, little tangent, and
yep.
yeah, because it's so funny. Listen to our mentality now that Destiny's in a good place, right?
Hmm.
Because I remember these conversations. E.
Oh, believe me, I know too.
I
Go back
remember
to
these.
like February, March.
Oh,
I know how skeptical I was because I know how much needed to change. And honestly,
yes,
Bungie, like they put the work in.
yes.
And hats off to those guys out there. But yeah, I'm
Mhm.
probably stealing the words again, so go for it.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's one of those things, and it's just like I guess it just goes to show you that when the game is in a good place, how we're not as fearful. Like before, we were like, "Oh my God, Red Dead's coming. Call of Duty's gonna get pushed back." At that time, we didn't know when Division would launch or whatever, right? So it was like, if that doesn't knock it out the park, what is it gonna do? It's gonna get swallowed up. You know what I'm saying? And it's so funny that, like I said, again, not saying that nobody's not playing Call of Duty. Nobody's not saying that Destiny's numbers are going past that, but it's in such a good place right now, at least in my opinion, that people are okay. Like, yep, these games are here. This, that. Odyssey came out. That was another great one, right?
Yep.
A lot of people very underrated, kind of thing. So yeah, man, it's just real interesting to see, Destiny continuing to do the right thing and still kind of maintaining its place. But what do you feel, with Destiny now in the mix with all these releases kind of popping up around it?
I mean, I think they still have that good time frame. September is good for them because it gets them ahead of a lot what starts to. They're
Mhm.
almost one of the first things of the fall.
Yes.
And it puts them in a good spot because it is a more time consuming game. There's no question about it
Mhm.
because of the grind, the leveling, the different activities, and then Forsaken through the everything at the wall, and it all stuck. So
Yes.
there was so much stuff to do in Forsaken. It had some decent space to breathe. It's had some time with
Mhm.
the raid. You've had these activities now, the stuff that we keep finding in the game.
Mhm.
It's had some nice legs to it that it's stayed relevant long enough that I know
Right.
other stuff is going to come. I mean, you got Call of Duty that's definitely going to. I mean, it's one of the biggest in the world. It always
Mhm.
probably will be until something crazy happens. But Treyarch seems to have done really well this time. You got
Yes.
Red Dead coming, Battlefield's coming.
Mm.
But then, so you're gonna have all that time for all that stuff to sit and simmer and then go on. And then all those
Mhm.
people who may have been like, "Hey, I got my Destiny in, doing this, all that," had a really good experience in Forsaken. They just opened
Mhm.
it up, so if you buy Forsaken, you don't have to buy the other old expansions. Like another good step in the
Mhm.
right direction.
Yes.
So that's all good steps. And then you go to the fall, and we're like, okay, we're doing good, we're doing good. Okay, a whole bunch of games, people are gonna step away. December is
Mhm.
gonna come. I think that's gonna be the first tell of what the annual pass does. We have the
Good
Black Armory.
point. Good
So
point.
some people are probably like, "Hey, Forsaken sounds pretty good. It's still only $40. Cool. I'm not going to do the annual pass yet."
Mhm.
And that's probably where a lot of people are at. I have a feeling. I mean, you got the
I think
diehards like
so.
us. I've already bought it all. It's fine.
Mhm.
But there's definitely plenty of people that are just going to be on the fence and be like, "Hey, I'm just buying Forsaken. There's so much stuff. I don't know if I got time,
Mhm.
or I want to wait and see if they earn the annual pass."
So let me ask you a follow-up question. Do
Okay.
you think that because of we can agree that Forsaken was very well received,
Oh
right?
yeah.
And it created a lot of goodwill in the community and
Mm-hmm.
for, I would say, I don't say casuals, but people who like Destiny who went away, and then we could say that a lot of that, a good, strong percentage of that them came back with Forsaken. Do you think because of the goodwill earned by Forsaken that that would just get people to say, you know what, man, I'm really enjoying this content so much, I'll give them that Black Armory money? Or do you kind of agree, kind of go back to what you had kind of alluded to, which was, they still might be wait and see with this additional content? What's your gut telling you?
My gut's the latter, honestly.
Okay.
So, I mean, the goodwill is a good thing. It gives people an idea to look. Because even
Mm-hmm.
Destiny 2, I mean, when you stepped out, you didn't have the weapon slots fixed, so PvP didn't always quite feel that great. The double
Mm-hmm.
primaries kind of got a little, I don't want to say boring, but it didn't have quite the flair that sometimes you wanted in just your typical gameplay. And it
Mm-hmm.
just felt like it was missing something. I mean, and while the campaign actually had kind of a cool progression, the raid wasn't connected. We've talked about that before. But I mean, the story itself was kind of cool, and it was more Destiny, and everybody likes that. But it didn't have the length, the legs, the deep grind. The randoms weren't there. So many pieces were
Mm-hmm.
missing that it was like people could fall off that wagon easier. Now, Forsaken will keep it more, but we have even bigger competition probably this year than we did last year for our attention.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's still in a pretty good place that when people say, hey, what's the review on Black Armory like? Is that
Mm-hmm.
actually coming out pretty good? Cool. Okay. Give me like a week or so, check the reviews. Okay. I'll still probably pick it up. I think they have built up enough like good reviews and word and things like that to say, okay, if this is what Forsaken's like, pretty
Mm-hmm.
solid, great foundation, new activity with Gambit and all that stuff going on. And then if somebody says, IGN comes back and says like, hey, Black Army, not quite Forsaken, obviously Forsaken knocked so much out of the park, but hey, we got 8.5 or something for Black Armory, pretty solid expansion, cool activities.
Mm-hmm.
That might be that step that says, okay, I think Bungie is actually headed in a proper direction. More people will start opening that wallet for the annual pass. But it is
Gotcha.
probably for me, not me specifically, but for a lot of people I see, it's going to take those reviews on Black Army before that
Gotcha.
annual
Before you
pass
go.
really like just is
Good point.
sold.
I can see
That's
that. I
that's
can see
my
where you're coming
guess.
from with that. I can see where you're coming from. That's fair enough. Fair
What
enough.
about you? I mean, what about you? Do you think it's just like, hey, they're good, you should just totally buy it? I mean, personally, I have faith at this point, but I understand most people that have been burned. But it's like, what do you think?
Yeah,
What's
absolutely.
your circle telling you?
My circle's telling me like, well, obviously there's still so much in Forsaken people still haven't finished, right? There's still tons of people that still haven't done the raid. You know what I'm saying? There's still tons of people. So I can see, my gut is telling me that it may very well still be a wait and see for the hardcore is the hardcore. We're getting it regardless, right? This
Yeah.
doesn't affect us. But the people in the middle may say, hey, you know what? I still got stuff to do. I ain't finished it. And unless Warmind shows something, and we'll talk about later, rumors and stuff like that, that is like so like they show one thing that is like so like almost, I want to say it's the level of Cade or something like that, but they would have to show something, really impactful to get people to go, whoa, I gotta find out what's going on. And I'm not sure. My gut tells me right now that's a hard thing to live up to after Forsaken, right? My gut tells me like it'd probably be solid, it'd probably be good, but I don't know if it's gonna have like a whoa, Cade's dead. Whoa, all this other stuff that Forsaken came with. So it'll be interesting. My gut probably is with you. It's gonna be a hardcore yes, the casuals maybe. And if the reviews come out and compound that it's good, then they'll be right back in pocket.
Okay. I gotcha.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And
Yeah. So I mean, I was like in couple people got said Fred and Oscar both in my chat just basically saying, hey, it's like I'm on watch, just gotta wait.
mhm.
They're not getting there, and that's the thing. A lot of people got burned with Osiris, and that's that
Yes.
first expansion, and that's why for this annual
Yes.
pass to do well,
Hmm.
they probably have to put the most effort into Black Armory.
Yeah.
That has to be
Absolutely.
the best of the three. I mean, the others can,
Absolutely.
because I mean, you gotta step out with the right foot for people to think that the other two are gonna even hold a candle to being worth it. Now,
Yes.
granted, I mean, the other two expansions were if you bought them together they were 30, but if you bought them separate they were 40. Is that how those worked before?
Yeah, something like that, I
Something
believe.
like
Yeah.
that. So I mean,
Mhm.
so we are getting three things now. Two are gonna have raid layers. One is that whole Gambit revamp in the middle for
Mhm.
Joker's Wild. So that one's kind of like I don't know, the oddball of the bunch because it doesn't
Mhm.
feel like a full expansion to me.
Yeah,
I
I
mean,
feel you.
not even
I'm actually
expansion.
curious
It
about
doesn't
that one the most
feel.
because of the drifter. But that could
Yeah,
be.
I mean, the Drifter is cool for sure, but it's more the what it has to offer doesn't feel as, I don't want to say full. I'm trying to figure out the way, but
Mhm.
you kind of know what I mean. Basically,
Yeah, I know. Yeah,
it's
basically, on what you've perceived or what you've seen so far about Joker's Wild, you personally may not think it may match Black Armory. You know what I'm saying? Or Penumbra.
yeah, yeah. I mean, those two, they've said they're going to be raid layers. It's like those can potentially be cool if they even hold a remote candle. I mean, Last Wish is just awesome. So
Yeah,
all of
exactly.
those pieces sound really, really cool.
Hmm.
But then you've just got to be like, okay, so what's the deal? So I mean, up here we got the first piece with Black Armor. We've got this trailer with this guy up here. It's like Gaunt. So we've heard about
Gaunt.
him. Yeah, it's
Hmm.
like a weird name. It's
With
an
no number.
Awoken. Oh,
EXO with no number.
yeah, sorry. Yep,
Hmm.
EXO with no number. So, like, the
Hmm.
plan here, we have, like, launch is crazy.
Yes.
Got Gambit, Raid Last Wish, Iron Banners here, Crucible matches, Festival
Boom.
Lost has been, we'll get to our thoughts on that one.
Hmm.
And then just more, so weekly playlist updates, the Dreaming Set Evolution, and additional surprise. We've had a lot. So it's like your first piece, you have the Dawning event,
Hmm.
heavy machine guns are coming back. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Woo.
New weapons, new Crucible content, Iron Banner, gameplay updates, seasonal ranks, all that stuff's just kind of there. But you've got, so the Black Armory. This one
Yes.
potentially is going to be those new weapon types, basically. You've got
Hmm.
black weapons, which seems really weird to me that they would
Very
introduce
interesting.
another weapon, literally type. So you got
Yeah.
legendary, exotic, rare, and black. And you're just like, are these. And everybody's in their mind going, it's like, okay, exotics are exotics. Well, are these things usable as exotics? Can you only have one? Can
One of
you.
them. Yeah, we
Yeah.
got to see what properties apply, what rules happen, right? So this is very very gameplay system changing on some level. So we definitely got to see how that works.
Yep. So then we've got new Forges of the Chain activity.
Hmm.
So I mean, the activity a lot of people think Blindwell. So I mean, you've got kind of a horde mode, wave stuff like that, and that's kind of one of those pieces. And
Hmm.
when Escalation Protocol is done right, if you have a decent couple, like a few people out there now, and as we're a little bit over leveled, it's a little more manageable.
Hmm.
Escalation Protocol is still really really cool. It's a fun
Oh, I love it.
experience. Like each one of the bosses each week rotates. They have different activities. Um,
Mhm.
so all those pieces are cool there. But like Blindwell, the more you do it, you kind of get the feeling like, okay, it doesn't quite have the same pizzazz, I guess.
Yes.
The what do I think? The heroic version is cool because you got the three you turn around, you kind of do the boss. It's got its different mechanics and stuff like that. So that's kind
Hmm.
of that little like addition it needs to kind of go in the level that Escalation Protocol is. I'm
Hmm.
wondering if this is going to be one of those type, or if it's going to be more of, say, Forges of the Chain. Say it's like a
Hmm.
Haunted Forest type.
Right. It's a good question. This is a good
Yeah.
question. I'm not sure. I mean, they've been pretty solid with these introduction of new activities. So I'm willing to give it a shot there. I'm very curious. I'm very curious. It's one of those things. We gotta just see it, man. It's gonna be hard to determine. We just gotta see it. And like you said, I am a fan of Escalation Protocol. I still like it. I like the going in there now that I'm over leveled. It feels so good. if, I remember the struggle during the War Mine, whatever light cap days. So, anytime I get a chance to stomp stuff out, feeling strong again. But no, man, I always welcome new activities. Dying to see what this thing's gonna be, man. I'm very curious about it.
Um, yeah.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's just kind of one of those to wait and see what that is entailed. What is our little teaser going to be? Sometime in November, we're going to hear about what is involved. We know a raid layer. They're just going to, yep, there's a raid layer. We're not going to tell you anything. That's the whole surprise.
Mhm.
New exotics, new legendaries, which I honestly can't wait for that.
Yeah.
We need a bit more variety in that weapon pool because the
Yes.
randoms are there, the rolls are
Mhm.
good, but it's like at this point I am on like
Mhm.
my sixth trust, my 18th go figure. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Gotta see that redundancy. Yep.
so it's like the randoms are good. It's like I like the fact that the rolls are there. It gives you some options, makes me try different things and stuff like that. There's eventually going to be a meta, but that pool needs bigger. So I can't wait for that to get here. Triumphs, collections, bonus rewards, all that good stuff's fine.
Mhm.
But yeah, that Forges of the Chain I think is going to be the biggest piece, and then just I guess whatever the depth of this black armor is going to be. So between those, the raid lair, and if there's just enough more to do. I mean, if they add more exotic quests, if they have like a new Gambit map, if they have they need enough in this one to make it worth it. It's at least $10, but in a lot of people's mind, if they do this, they're like, is this worth 30? And that's going to be kind of a harder sell.
Right, absolutely, absolutely. In their defense, I don't see it listed, but I was under the impression that the season that Trials missed is this one, right? So
Yep.
technically, in theory, Trials should be coming back for Black Armory because that's a new season, right? Isn't that considered a new season?
Yeah, it should be a new season, but that's also if they have it done.
Yeah, if it's done. I mean, if
Yeah.
it's done. But one would hope at some point during Black Armory that Trial should make its return. So again, even though I know they're not mentioning it right now, and probably like you said, to protect deliverables, protect dates, to make sure they can actually get whatever they're trying to revamp completely done. But my gut is telling me, they did say it was going to miss a season. Armory is the season, a new season. So maybe not at the very beginning, maybe during the middle of it, we may see a
Yeah.
what you call the 9 is back or whatever.
Yeah, the 9's back, or who knows what version of that. And you also got faction rallies. Those are at least on hiatus until they fix them, and we still haven't heard anything about that. We're going to go. Festival of Lost wraps up on the 6th.
It's almost over.
It's just getting started.
Yeah.
But I was like, I mean, like, we've got a couple more weeks of that. We'll be in November. And some point in December, the Season of Lost is going to be, Season of Lost, what am I saying? Season of the Forge. But it can't be that late in December. It's not going to come out on, like, December 25th. It's got to be, like, the 10th, the 15th at the absolute latest.
Like that beginning of the second week, I would
Yeah,
say.
so something like that. So there's not that much time to do something like faction rallies to really bring them back and announce them, and unless they do like a test or something. But it feels like that's almost going to fall into this as well. So I mean, they still have things cooking, as you said. You got Trials that I totally forgot about, faction rallies that still haven't come back, and like if they fix those two as well, that's just even more stuff going on. So
yeah, absolutely. Just want to real quick, Justin Workman in my chat. He said, be nice to see unique intrinsical features like the Nightfall weapons with the introduction of black weapons that are RNG rolled. I'm with you.
it's like an
That'd be cool. What you feel
intrinsic,
about
like the intrinsic exotic, like certain legendaries have a specific perk plus their random rolls.
Yeah.
Is that kind of what I'm? Yeah, I mean, I'd love, like they have to do something to make themselves set apart. Like maybe you can throw, maybe there is an extra perk slot, or maybe there is some intrinsic thing to this, black auto rifle that's gonna have an extra mod slot or something too.
Yeah.
Like they got to give them a reason to make them stand apart. If I can throw like counterbalance. Counterbalance and boss spec on there. That's the type of stuff where you're really going to start to be able to get some distinction between your weapons, which would be cool.
Absolutely. I'm with you, man. Great idea, Justin Workman. I'm with you, man.
Yeah.
So what else we got?
So then in spring we see the Season of the Drifter. So new weapons, stuff like that. By the way, I totally completely like blew past this. By the way, heavy machine guns coming back in Black Armory.
Let's go. Let's go.
We talked about this before. It's like I love like having a long clip of a powerful gun that I can just go drop somebody in PvP, and it's just the power of it. But dude, what do you think? How do you think this is gonna change stuff up? Do you think it's gonna be able to? I don't know. I was like, I enjoyed them in their certain spot, but I feel like they never really had quite their place in PvE. Personally,
PvE. No way. This was clearly a PvP weapon. I don't think they could do too much with it with PvE. I mean, let's look at the heavy slot, right? Let's analyze it. Right now,
well, Sleeper
Rocket's
and Whisper.
Yeah,
That's pretty much all you
Sleeper
need.
and Whisper. It's a Sleeper and Whisper world. That's what it is right now. And actually, you gotta give my boy credit. Come on, E. My favorite weapon has got to be the number one most dominant thing since Galahorn. Give it up. Give it up, goddamn.
Sleeper?
Give it up, goddamn. Come on, man. It's my favorite weapon. This is probably the most dominant I've seen it because most people, I don't know if it's because
broken, but
snipers-
sure. But that's kind of the point. I mean, you're not wrong. There's nothing that compares to it generally with the power that it can do, the clip size that it has, and just what it's capable of doing. Nothing can compare to that damn gun. And I'm not arguing that it's a good gun. I'm just saying it does limit your options. Like if you're always going to
Absolutely.
run with sleeper,
Mhm.
what's the point in the other two slots having exotics? I mean, that's kind of the part where sometimes it's almost OP enough to where it like ruins your choices. It
No,
is
I
nice to
get
have
it.
choice. So
Jimbo. No, you did not, Jimbo. Sleeper destroys everything, even fun
fun
itself. You
itself.
will not besmirch the great name
Hey,
of Sleeper simply.
you play a match of Gambit that doesn't have sleeper, and then you turn around and play one where there's two or three sleepers on maybe either side. That is a different game mode with and without one gun. One gun. If I get
Listen,
sniped from halfway across the map, you earned it because you had to crit me.
I'm
If you,
biased, damn it.
I know,
This is
no, no,
my
I
time.
know you are, but I'm just saying, like, no, but have you had, have you gone into Gambit without sleeper ever?
Full disclosure.
No.
The only time I went into Gambit without it is when like I was trying to test out a non-god role bad omens. And I was like, all right, let me see how it is with just tracking and no cluster bomb. Or let me see how it is with cluster bombs and no tracking. You know what I'm saying? Like when I try to debut a legendary, shut up Snaldo, trouble's not brewing. It was, but like when I try to debut a legendary with a decent role and see, you know what I'm saying? But yes, you are correct. Sleeper is by my side like a crutch. I can't go outside with it. I can't get that weapon out the slot. It's that an escalation protocol shotgun. Now I've been trying other things out of that slot to get me out of that fix. You know what I'm saying of EP shotgun. And that's a little bit more. A little bit more manageable. It's not more of as addicting. I can kind of get away with it when you mix up kinetic and energy. But when it comes down to pure boss DPS, like you said, when it comes down to doing, a vintage, what I would call it, a vintage Ebontis solo run. Sleep ain't leaving me, baby. That ain't leaving my side at all. At all. So I gotta keep it. Yes, I am guilty as charged. I am busted. It is the only heavy power slot weapon I am using. And selfishly I'm smiling. And I know probably another nerf is probably coming. But it just reminds me of like the old Gallahorn days in a way. But I never thought it would happen with my favorite weapon. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean it's fun to enjoy it while it's there. If you want to win, you got to be part of the meta. I mean that's just there are some. The one I will honestly say though, I had one of the best moments in Gambit recently, and Sleeper wasn't involved because it was when the meatball spawned. I had that dude spawn for the first time, and I about had a heart attack first. Because, for one, shout out to my Go figure. That thing is a laser beam. I will
Ooh,
use my Go
yes.
figure when I invade on that first one and mess some people up. That thing is a beast, and people have been watching my videos saying Go figure must be really nice on PC because it does not feel like this on console. So
Yeah,
it's
not
like
like
there's
that.
a difference
Not the way
between
you
PC and
use it.
console.
Yeah.
Mine feels real good, but I had the meatball spawn. I didn't know it spawned until I came back from invasion. Literally had no idea it was there. I was like, okay, I was shooting them, working them. I had my Twilight Oath. I sniped a guy from across the map, messed him up. I came back and I saw the meatball, and my heart went through about 4,000 different beats in 1 second. I was like, okay, what do we do? What do we do? We both had it up. They started pulling ahead, dude. So I was like, all right, sweet. I'm going back in, went in. Honestly, just started picking on with go figure. Go figure. Okay, cool. Got him going. Went back again. I went back for that third invasion. I went full code of the missile, crossed half the damn map, knocked one guy out, threw a grenade. As I was leaving, the grenade killed a guy, got the kill, finally got the health just high enough up for us to burn him down, and I got my shattered heart. But I about lost my
Oh,
mind during that one, dude.
so jealous,
And
bro.
I
I have
also screwed some people over because that's the point where
what
like,
you
well, how
do.
much? Well, because I healed the primeval 96%.
Wow, they live it
They
with you.
pissed
They
off.
live it with you. That's like you get hate messages at that point.
Yeah, it's like that's kind of one of the things about BattleNet. You have to actually add friends to message them, so it probably saves me a few of
True.
those. But
True.
I probably definitely made some people mad. But I mean that moment, it's like I knew this was gonna come up because I had that moment. I was like, "Come on, go in! I got that one more kill. All right, come on, burn it down, shoot it, shoot it!" And I got just even in my chair in my own little head. I was just sitting there, probably 11 o'clock at night, going like, "Yeah!" Like I had that fist pump moment, and
Nice.
I was like,
Love
and
it.
it felt so good, and.
Meanwhile, some of us on console have yet to see the meatball or get
That's
any
the old.
Forsaken
Honestly,
exotics.
I was like, I'm going to say huge, giant amount of luck. That's the only time I've seen it after playing a pretty good amount of Gambit. And I probably won't see it again for a while because that patch is coming in about a week and a half. But
I play so much. I've yet to see it, but you know what? It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to you. You got your, that part of the quest line to get it going. I don't mind. I mean, I'm gonna get out the amount
yeah.
of Gambit I play. The key is gonna be because you got to win. How's that gonna go? And especially if you're in there with randos. Oh Lord. So good luck to that.
Yeah, I was like, I got it with randoms. Like they were working. All of a sudden, it's like I realized, okay, they're working those. So I just started invading over and over, and that was literally my job. So, nice. Like in my chat, seeing the meatball 4 times, killed it twice. So that's pretty good.
That must be nice. How many Forsaken exotics you guys got?
I got my second Trinity Gold. Does that make you mad?
Oh my god, bro! Let me tell you, I just want one, man. I just want like either the Phoenix Protocol, just one Warlock exotic. I haven't gotten I don't really care for a weapon if I get it. To be honest, I really want an exotic. I'll tell you what. You know the 3, either for the Void, the arm piece. What is it? Oh, I think you have it.
Oh yeah. Can't remember the name.
I forget the name.
Controverse Hold or something like that.
Yep, Controverse Hold. I want the Geomag stabilizers. But basically, the 3 new exotics that would synergize good with my Warlock's new subclasses. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's just like, matter of fact, the only weapon. Shout out to Chris Cole in the chat. The only weapon I do want badly, though, I do want that 2-tailed fox. Shout out to Chris Cole. He said he got his yesterday. Yeah, I do want that one. I didn't get that.
Yeah, so I mean, there's a whole lot of random to it, and believe me, it's like the fact that I saw it and killed it. Honestly, I just 100% assumed that when I saw it, I wasn't even gonna have a chance because I always play randoms. So I honestly really did not expect to even get a shot at like getting the kill, and then it just had that game and had that moment. I was just like, damn, it actually happened. So I mean, but just the feeling in that moment. By the way, shout out guys to if you haven't heard, just because there's not a lot of interviews with those guys. 2 of the Gambit main leads, Guardian Radio, got an interview with them. So They actually got about a 30-minute interview with those guys, and it's just cool to hear them. Basically, the cool thing about it is they explain how that whole thing came about, the development of it, the things that they tested. There wasn't even an overshield at first. There wasn't even seeing through walls at first. So, I mean, they go through and kind of explain all the testing that showed how it got to where it is, which was actually really cool. So that one's a cool interview, just if you are curious about the game mode and its kind of origins, the testing it went through, how it started out, and just the different pieces. There wasn't even a Prime Evil for a while. Didn't even exist.
Wow.
I was like, and there's certain pieces you hear, and like it's hard to think of the game mode without all the pieces it has. So it's just kind of cool to hear the story that it went through. So that was kind of a cool listen.
Cool.
But yeah, you've got Joker's Wild for this. How are Gambit's going to evolve? How? I mean, I know they're going to do general quality of life stuff. Like they're going to be, patching and like, health of the primeval.
Let me warn y'all now. Let me make a public service announcement for you heathens, you sleeper hating heathens.
Calm down.
Let you guys know. There's a meme going out right now. I believe it's Rick Cactus has it. It is the funniest meme. I should have saved it and then screenshotted it. And it's like, it has like the sleeper simulator, right? And it's like, you guys thought you're rid of me, right? And then behind it, it has like Queen's Baker's bro.
Oh, dude,
have you seen it?
I've heard something like that, and it's like, I'm sorry, what? It's like, you're mad about Sleeper, and Queensbreaker's both like, hold my beer.
Hold my beer.
Yeah.
So, I'm just warning y'all right now.
Oh man, that thing! I haven't seen that at all, but I've heard some people. I've got picked off with it like twice. That thing's apparently gonna mess some people up.
To the chat, what's up, Guardian man? Yeah, man, I'm warning y'all now. If you wish for, be careful what you wish for, because there's some things cooking that people in Reddit are like, shh, don't say anything. It's our little secret. And Queensbreaker's Bowl is definitely on that list of being obnoxious in Gambit. Warning y'all now.
I 100% believe you, because I've heard a couple things as well. Just little whispers, as you say. It's not popular because it's not a full quest. It's still a random drop. So people are like waiting for that stuff to like start getting more into the mix. But I've heard some people say Queensbreaker is, which is interesting to me because I remember it so much from D1 being kind of only okay. Because you're trying to like snipe with a fusion rifle, you have to lead him, you have to wait for the charge time, and while it's doable, it's still different. So I don't know how hard it hits, like what it's able to do. I gotta
Yeah,
wait
shout out to
until
Justin Weber. He said Queensbreakers has some huge, big hit boxes,
for
and for
precision.
precision,
Ah,
it's
gotcha.
questionable. Jay Fonz, he said people cried about sleeping need to get. That's right, get good. That's right, Fonz. You ride with me with my selfish weapon. That's right.
So
But back on point. But as far as the like you said with the Joker's Wild, it
I was
is
like,
interesting, right? Like, what could they do to the gameplay mode that they're going to expand upon it, right? So
yeah,
I'm very curious about that DLC. I think I'm low key more excited about Joker's Wild because I think narratively it'll be fun. I don't know why. I think the Drifter story is very interesting. I'm not going to say he's going to be a character that's going to replace a Cade, but it's just one of them things that I'm very curious about his whole thing with the light and the dark. Don't get me wrong, this Gaunt thing sounds mysterious and cool, and we
yeah.
got to see what's going on with the weapons. And should we get to the rumors now? I want to talk about it later with Black Armory. Save
We
it.
can talk about it now. I mean, yeah. Heads up. Spoiler alert. At
Spoiler,
just
spoiler,
couple
spoiler.
potential spoilers. So
Right.
turn away for like I don't know 2 minutes. We'll try and keep it
Hmm.
quick.
Yes.
3, 2, 1. All right, go for it.
Yeah, so the rumors are, that we should obviously we're going to see the Thunderlord soon, but the rumors are with Black Armor, we're supposed to be getting Icebreaker back, which is very interesting
Yeah.
because as we know, that is probably one of the most hardest guns in the history of Destiny to balance.
Mm-hmm.
So for them to bring that back, man, it would require a severe revamp to make it fair because that gun can literally break the game. Let's just keep it. As much as I
Yeah.
love it,
I mean, as much
because
as you spawn with two.
yeah, yeah. So you got that, and then Fonz, damn it, you spoiled it. And then we warned you. We said spoil it. The second one is the one that we most likely thought based on lore is definitely good old last word. Tex Mechanica's own the fast firing Red Dead Redemption style, Wild Wild West. That was my favorite exotic. True confession. That was my first love. One of the first ones I ever got, and I really love Last Word. I just love that. Remember the animation with the hand off the top? E, he's just flicking,
Oh
like
yeah.
that. Yeah,
Oh, I
that was
remember
a.
it. I never used it. I was terrible with that gun.
I was a beast with it. I fell in love with hand cannons first, and Last Word was very special to me. So I'm again very curious to see how it will come back, to see how it will enter that meta. So Black Armory, it fit the name fits. It's going to have those
Guns,
exotics. It's
guns,
going to have
guns.
legendaries. Could be interesting.
Yep.
What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, Black Army sounds cool. Heavy machine guns, like I mean, just the fact that Thunderlord's coming back. That, not even specifically Thunderlord. I cannot remember the name of the damn gun in D1. It was one of the later heavies that was slower firing,
Yeah.
and you'd basically three tap people in PvP.
Was it the raid one? That's what we're talking about.
Maybe. I mean,
Quillum?
I know
Quillum tournaments?
Quillum's was one. There was another one I had that was slower, and I'd honestly just have to look through my old vaults and stuff like that. But for me, I want to know that it's actually going to be able to do what it needs to do in PvE. Because PvE is like the part for me where it still needs to be a factor. Because if it doesn't do enough, I mean, PvP is fun. Yes, don't get me wrong. But if it doesn't do much in PvE, if it can't take away from some of those other ones, it's not going to do as much for me. So
Slow mo in the chat. Breaking hearts last night, 9 banana. Okay, what gun you was using? I gotta know. Talk to me, slow mo. What gun was you using 9 banana that you breaking hearts with? But continue. E.
But yeah, it's just I want to know how those heavy machine guns do in PvE because they are going up against some powerful stuff. Like
Yes.
Whisper's beyond broken. I mean, if you were gonna make me pick Thunderlord over Whisper or Sleeper for anything, that thing's gotta be a beast.
It's got to be a beast. I think what they have
Has
to do
to be.
is for PVE to work. We know PvP it should beast. They should keep it as it is. It would be fine if it reacts the same way. But in PvE, maybe they give it some type of intrinsic perk, like you know what I'm thinking, like go with the meta of the weapon Thunderlord, right? Remember when we had like Xylo Supercell,
Hmm.
and it used to like jut out to other things. It's like a little electric field, and maybe you throw a rampage on. You got to do some extra things to make it flashy in PvE, and
Yeah.
then I think you find that medium. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be something
Mhm.
to me big because I mean, it's going up against such heavy hitters. Thunderlord will be like, "Oh, thanks." Like you got to make me care about the gun, and if you don't, that's going to be kind of a problem because while they're going to be fun to use in PvP, just because I usually will have more ammo and possibly more kills. On the other side, it just like if it doesn't wow me, it's gonna be hard to switch to. Like, what is gonna be its appeal when I'm going to go fight, a primeval or go take out some guys in Gambit? It's like if I go pop that heavy, it's got to be good.
No, absolutely, absolutely. I'm with you. I think you're making a valid point. It can't. Basically, what we're saying is it can't return in the exact state as we known it from D1. It would have to do other things. So
Yep.
we'll see. We'll see. We know in PvP is going to beast though. That I know.
Yeah, I was like, I can't wait to use that thing again. Get those machine lord medals. Just start racking those
Woo!
things up. Good
Let's
stuff.
go. Go.
Finally, of course, so you got spring and then you got summer. So it's nice that we do have three things planned. We only had literally, you had Osiris, then you had like
Mm-hmm.
6 months till basically Warmind. It was in May, so it was December to May. So it's a long time. So the
Mm-hmm.
season of the blank, the penumbra, which is that whole shadow and light and different things going on. Um, Getting us another raid lair again, giving us that little push back into summer, getting ready for whatever's going to come in September. Shout out to the guys working on September. I do not envy you right now because the bar for Forsaken is off the charts. A new activity experience again. These are just kind of those things they're going to add, and more other stuff as well. So it's like there's a lot coming, and to me being a Destiny 2 player, this seems worth every single penny.
Absolutely.
And
I
like
mean,
in
I
my
just
mind,
like
this
this.
is like an easy
I'm sorry.
sell. I was
I
like,
cut you off.
no. I was just saying, like, in my mind, this is an easy sell. For other people, it's like they're going to want to see it. But to me, I'm like, this is a lot of crap for $30.
Yes.
So
No,
much.
I agree. I agree, man. I just like that steady stream of content. Remember before we would have the December, then you got to wait so long, and then after the spring, it's like so long, and you're just basically just waiting for the next expansion. We get kind of like a very light, free update, maybe late spring, summer. But this is just boom. It literally feels like, yo, I'm not even done with Forsaken.
I'm really
And
not.
literally, like we're getting close. I mean, we're not that, we're at the end, we're getting towards the end of October. November's gonna be here in a minute. December's right around the corner, you know, and it seems they still have things to do. Again, not that this is a bad thing. This is great. But it just goes to show you like the content space that they're in where they're just pumping things out and it's just so much. I literally, and we'll get into festival look, like I literally have not had time to touch it. Like I've just been doing other things, but that's just me. I'm a PvP nut and a Gambit nut. But at the end of the day, that just shows a good place that it's at. There's really a ton of activities to do.
Yeah. So, I mean, for me, I can't wait to see what this thing brings. I know some people are going to wait, but all in all, I'd say this is going to be hopefully a really awesome year for Destiny because it
So
definitely started off on the right foot.
I hope so. The key, like you said, is Black Armory. They gotta keep the momentum popping. They cannot afford to have a Curse of Osiris moment. Let's just say that.
No, like that, and that's kind of one of the things that I think they might be probably the most fearful about, which is why I think they're going to have to do nothing but absolutely just blow this thing away. Because Osiris was literally what almost broke Destiny 2. I mean, and it took them so long to get to Warmind. They have the schedule they've got to hit. They know what's going on. And now they have more people working with them. So, like, you know, Black Armory could be, I'm trying to think of it, like Vicarious Visions. Then you've got High Moon Studios could be working on Gambit. And they could be rotating through all this stuff. So they've got some more help to work on quality stuff. But
Hmm.
if you pull in Osiris again, you're gonna lose so much that you've built. You can't do it wrong. There's no way you can do it wrong.
Exactly, can't.
So
Absolutely. So let's get into it.
yeah. So that long tangent aside, long point hashtag happened. But I mean that's the thing. It's like you got a lot of stuff going on. So I mean the bar is up there high. They've had done a lot of great things. And if they keep this going, they will continue to stay relevant through Anthem, through Division 2, and other things if they do it right. If they drop an Osiris, then people are going to be like, oh, what's that other game out there? Like, as soon as they can. As soon as they can. They're,
Absolutely. The fact that they're still they're still rocking in the midst of a Call of Duty. They're still rocking in the midst of a great Odyssey. Now I know we got Red Dead. That's the one. That's a big one. Next week we see how that go. But generally, with those type of quest games, people are going to be very much involved and ingratiated in campaign, and give them time, give them a couple weeks or whatever they blaze out. And usually with the single player games, at least when Destiny's good, in my experience, people have always come back in that 2 week period after they've kind of blazed out, kind of thing. So again, we'll see, but we shall see. Again, it all depends on that content, how the quality of it.
so,
Hmm.
let's move on to our next pick. Basically, this week of Destiny is insane. The
Yes.
week of October 16th is got to be one of the craziest ones, almost probably since Forsaken came out. I almost want to say it's worse.
Yeah.
Because Forsaken was literally the release. The raid wasn't even here yet. We were grinding through the story, just getting a feel for everything that's out there. But in all honesty, um, there's so much to do this week. I literally am not going to do it all. There's no way in the
There's no way.
world.
There's no way.
So what have you been doing? Let's talk to you first. Let's see what you've been doing.
Yeah, Halloween fans, you're gonna be mad at me because there's been no Festival of the Lost touching for me. Because the way I looked at it was this: I just made a business decision. I said, I looked at Festival of the Lost. I looked at the reward. I said, oh, horror story, origin story kind of thing, Rampage Zen. I want it. I definitely want it. But I was like, is it gonna kill me to grind it right the first week? And the key was that festival was going to be around for like 3 weeks, right? So once I got that information, I'm like, okay, I don't have to rush. Banner right now for me, I know people may think I'm crazy because a lot of you guys love festival, but Banner for me is definitely was the priority to get the all that powerful gear, short period of time, get the double XP, triple XP, knock that out. Saladin's only here for that week. So I figure if
Mm.
I knock out the Saladin stuff, get that done, then I can double dip. And by that time, or Festival of the Lost tryhard guys will figure out great strategies to tell me so I can go in there, get things done more efficiently. So that's how I'm rocking. Which,
Nice.
what decision? I'm assuming you dove right into PV. I know you're the PV guy.
My biggest one that I want to do, which is why it's the unfortunate week of all time, was the Shattered Throne. I
Mm-hmm.
had to get into that, and I beat it.
Mm,
And that still probably one of my favorite pieces of content for Forsaken.
wow, wow.
That being a three-man, the scale, the fights, the
3-man raid, right?
three-man raid,
Basically.
basically a three-man raid, and something no, like we had no inclination or notion that it existed
Mhm.
because we had Crazy Story, we had Gambit, we had the raid. Bam! What the hell is this? Oh, this is kind of
Mhm.
amazing. Just in case you didn't have enough stuff to do. So we got to last time I went through it, I was probably 550. Got to
Mhm.
the point where you're fighting the ogre, and it literally kicks up to 580 at that point.
Yeah,
The
that
first
point
section you
jumps.
can probably do it about 560 or so. I don't know, 560 or 570, but we were under leveled, but it was manageable because you're running around finding the symbols, which is cool because you kind of get a tease about the raid symbols. You get to see the different pieces. Um, and you're like working
Mhm.
through the ads. Some of them just absolutely smoke you, but the area is really cool. You're jumping around, and it's just the scale of this place is bigger, and you're like, how big is this place? So you work on the first section, you're going through it, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, I've got to walk on tiny little like rails up in the ceiling, not fall down, ogres that'll push you off, carry a little orb, and then you get to
Mhm.
a point where you're like, okay, now I'm like, you got to basically do a gauntlet. You got to survive a constant
Mhm.
onslaught of little thralls while you're slowed and can't jump, and if you're under leveled, those things would just absolutely start right. It was we were basically getting one shot, maybe two if we were running
Mhm.
supers. So this time coming back through at like 585, almost 590. I think both of my two are over 590 now, so I'm definitely getting up there.
Mhm.
It was definitely a lot more manageable, but don't it was not easy by any stretch of the imagination. So then when we got to the boss room, we fought with that ogre room for quite a while. I mean, that one was
Really.
just kicking our butt. It's brutal. I
Mhm.
mean, I've seen people do it and do it smoothly, and we kind of because there are four wizards, and you got the ogre in the middle. Ogre is shielded until you take out all four wizards. So somebody gets a buff of basically times four, and you can drop his shield.
Gotcha.
Now you can do it. I think four times. We did it. I think we killed him in like two rotations because we had some whispers and stuff.
Nice.
But just getting one full rotation, there's not the most cover in the world. Then the ads that spawn, you always have two vandals and two goblins. I hate goblin taking shielding. Oh my god, do I ever? Uh,
Yeah, it's the
that's
worst.
the worst.
Yeah.
So we were trying to clear out the groups altogether.
Mhm.
And then we were trying a different strategy of like, okay, kill like rotate through the ads, but leave the wizards up. So then when you go to do the wizards by themselves, they're not quite as bad. We
Mhm.
tried both. We ended up just going groups. But I mean, that fight alone, you're like, okay, go through the wizards, try and hide and cover, make sure you're in a line of sight the ogre. And it's not overly crazy mechanics like the raid. I mean, the raid is like, okay, do all this, stand on the platforms, don't like the Cali fight alone. I could talk to you for like 30 minutes if I was explaining all the details. It's not that bad. But I mean, for three people, there's definitely coordination. Okay, you pop your healing rift here. Okay, do this, hold out here, switch over. Okay, pop up your wall here so our back is covered. So, I mean, you have to have that communication and that piece. And it was honestly just so much fun. But also an absolute challenge that destroyed us the last time we tried it. So, I mean, oh, it was the last time we were like, nope. And honestly, I love that they had something in there that was that hard and that high.
Yeah, I love
Be
it. I
like,
love it.
yeah.
Yeah, man.
So
Absolutely. Yo, shout out, Fonz giving you credit, man. He said, shout out to appreciate Ebontis' walkthrough, to like the way you present them. And he doesn't mind. Yeah, you don't mind dying in front of us. We like that because we feel
sometimes,
mortal.
man.
We feel like, you know what? Like, he's showing some humanity here. Like, he's showing vulnerability. We don't see that with these content creators. They act like everything's purpose. No, Ebontis will show you a little slip up here and there, but you get right back on the horse, and he will continue to do that thing the solo way. So, yes, Fonz, I agree. Ebontis gets tons of credit for that.
Well, thank you guys very much. It's one of those that if you're going through, you're like, well, not a perfect run, but everything else was mostly those, so sure. Sometimes it's just, you can't. So
I felt good as a warlock one time. I was like, yes, okay, okay. So at least it didn't make me feel like a complete, what I'm saying, loser. I was like, he can make a mistake once in a while. We just love it. Oh my god.
uh, yeah, so I mean, it's just one of those pieces that there's a So there are four triumphs for that place. There's a flawless for your group. There's a solo, which at some point I want to try this weekend just because I should be high enough to finish it. But I know that solo is going to be brutal, and it's definitely going to be long. Um, but there's a solo flawless triumph.
Mm,
And that
oh,
is going to be one of the hardest challenges.
come on,
I've got
bro.
to try.
Bro, when you putting that video up, I already know you're
Dude, that
doing it.
video is going to be like 2 damn hours long.
You're gonna do it. I know
I
you're a
have to try.
solo
I mean,
champion. That's
Esoteric
what
did
you
it already in
do.
like the first week it was up because he was 600. But
He's not human. That's an android. Let's talk about
that's.
real human beings.
I mean, he is. He's just a monster. But it's like I understand all the fights now. It's probably the hardest part. I could honestly manage the last fight solo in my mind easier than I could probably manage the ogre fight. The ogre fight is where I'm probably gonna die the most in trying
Hmm.
it. So it's like there's gonna be a solo final completion, and then it's like, all right, if I can finally figure out the solo flawless is gonna be woof. But yeah, that'll be. I mean, that's like one of those things that I'll work on for a long, long time.
Can't
So
wait for that video, man. I know you're gonna do it. I know it. I know it. My guys got it.
But just the fact that they threw that challenge in there, I love it. I
Yeah, that's
love the
dope.
fact. Yeah, I love the fact that they actually are like they made something that a person solo. That's literally a shout out to the crazy people. Like, I mean, I'm somewhat crazy. Esoteric is insane. But just the fact that they have it in there, I think, is really, really cool. And it also gives people who are like, if you don't have anything else to do, but you want to hit every single triumph, heads up, you're about to face a really tough challenge. So,
Yes.
just
Hmm.
it's such a cool place. Sorry,
Hmm.
that's my rant. I had to talk about Shattered Throne because I
I
got to
love it,
finish it
man.
all. It was 2 hours and 16 minutes for our full run, so
Nice.
it was no joke. Like even kind of generally being able to look up what the strategies are, how it all works, still definitely took some beating. And we were 580s. I was probably 580 high, not quite 590 by the time we were running that. And then I think one of my buddies was 580 straight up, and another one was probably low 580. So we were all in that 580s range. And I
Mm.
would probably, after that first section, I wouldn't even tell you to go try much after that. Don't try the ogre unless you're 580, because you will
Gotcha.
get smoked.
You get smoked out.
But if you can get to about 590, it's because the final fight is 590, and the closer to the fight recommended level this time around, it's only thing I can tell you is recommend that. Match that recommended light. Otherwise, it's almost not worth the frustration.
Yeah. No, I appreciate that, man. I will definitely get in there, man. Like I said, I only dabbled in it briefly. But
I mean,
yeah,
what
man.
level, what light are you up to right now?
Right now, I'm just been like, man, I think what my problem right now is just shard economy. I'm waiting for that update. I'm waiting for next Tuesday, man. Because I'm like 580 chilling, but I haven't got a lot of chance to play as much as I wanted to. But I've been kind of unlucky with the drops. And when I finally do get higher light level, it's like really not the like a 3 point to 4 point jump that I need.
Yeah.
It's like a 2 point. So my thing's like, you know what? I'm just gonna hold all this. Like I have a whole bunch of stuff ready to put me to 585, 590. But because of my lack of cores, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna wait. You know what I'm saying? So I'm literally just sitting on a whole bunch of infusion right now. You know what I'm saying? So pretty much I'm waiting for Tuesday's update, see if they're gonna really include more masterwork core sources. Don't feel bad, slow mo. He said I'm at 526. Don't feel bad, bro. Wait until Tuesday. They will drop out that patch, the next patch, which should address spider bounties, giving other sources of getting masterwork cores, because that's really the holdup. You know what I mean? I can literally get up to 600 in no time. The problem is I have to make very stringent decisions based on my lack of cores and economy.
Yeah. I mean,
Mhm.
it's for me is like it's been every little piece that I can. I haven't done a full raid. I've done partial.
Mhm.
I got some big drops from that's the other piece. I
Wow.
mean, they're raid level drops from Shattered Throne. So I mean,
Yeah.
even if you go in, even if you don't want to go bash your head against the ogre for a little while,
Yeah.
if you can get a group in and just go work that first section, you can
Hmm.
probably even solo that one reasonably. And that might be my
Hmm.
first guide is be like, hey, even if you're 560, kind of
Hmm.
like I did for one of my what was it the Dark Monastery video that I did, I lowered myself down to 550 because I was literally like, hey, I know not all of you guys are up there, so we're going to go do this at 550, face that
Hmm.
Auditum Knight who's 590 and see what it takes to kill him. So I might honestly go in at about 560 or 570, something like that, a little lower, and see
Yeah.
what kind of a reasonable level is to fight that first
Hmm.
section. Because if you're looking for a boost, that's going to
Hmm.
give you a pretty high bump. Because I got a drop out of there. It was like 6 or 7 levels higher, and that high up, they're smaller, but that is still one of the biggest bumps you'll get is in there, if not the raid. So, if you need a little bump for gear, go do at least that first part. That's my advice.
Yes. Absolutely. What else we
Um,
got?
so you haven't touched the haunted forest, but I
I have
have.
not. So please, yeah, do tell me. I'm very curious. I got questions for you. Like,
Yeah.
you know, tell me as a, the Osiris fanboy, like how is their take of this Infinite Forest? Like, how is
This
is
is what
this
it should have been.
activity fun? Is it fun?
This is what it should have been.
Okay. Okay.
Or at least they step towards what it should have been. I won't say it's perfect. Um, it's timed. So in my mind, it would be nice to actually see the timer removed.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I like how the masks have a purpose because they
Mm-hmm.
definitely do. You actually level up the mask's benefits as well. So you have three
Yeah.
different main perk trees you can pick from, and as you level
Okay.
those up, you get more benefits out of them. So there's one where you do more damage to nightmares, which is like your boss on each wave. So first you'll pick that one, you get more damage to the nightmare. Second
Mm-hmm.
level of that one, once you kill so many nightmares, you get grenade and melee energy from precision kills. So that's a big
Mm-hmm.
little boost. Then the third tier, which is the last one I got to finish up on my first mask, is even more damage to those nightmares.
Mm-hmm.
So just the fact that the masks alone give it a cool effect is
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to see that type of leveling would be really really cool for like so many different pieces of armor. That would be nice.
Hold on one second. Newsflash in the chat. I need
Oh oh
confirmation. Shout out to Jimbo. He's dropping some heavy things about this festival, and I need confirmation. He's saying Haunted Forest is giving 7 masterwork cores. Is this true?
I don't know. I haven't finished the weekly bounty.
Okay, okay, okay.
I
Because if
haven't
that
finished the
is
weekly
true,
bounty. Yeah.
I am getting in some festival of law. I need cores in the worst way. If that is true, how difficult would you say is the weekly bounty then?
It's just grind. It's just time. It's not bad. I
Seven
know it's
cores
just
though.
time. Yeah,
7 cores.
it's worth a lot.
Yo, I gotta get in there. Mads Gaming, what's up, man? Good to see you,
What's
bro.
up, guys?
Continue. So yeah,
Um,
continue. So this is what Osiris, the Infinite Forest, should have been. This activity, is it still procedurally generated in the same fashion?
said Fred just confirmed 7 masterwork cores confirmed.
Oh, I am doing that. Thank you, guys. I guess I will be touching.
Guess who's
I'm touching.
joining? Just who's
Guess
stepping
who's
into the
jumping
haunted
in,
forest?
putting banner down for a little bit.
Yeah,
Thank you,
gotta do it.
guys. Much
So
appreciated. Mhm.
yeah, the masks are really cool. Now I won't say this is perfect because to me the time limit almost takes away some of like the fun. The time limit's cool for people like speedrunners and Glad and the Slayers and stuff like that who are going to be like, all right, perfect build stuff like that. There's a solo version. There's a match made version. Now this
Mm-hmm.
I actually like. You go, and it's basically a closed fire team. So whatever's in your fire team or in matchmaking, they have the option in there. I want them to do this on more things.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a cool thing. But there's no way in hell a solo person's ever going to get to level 15 in the same amount of time. I don't even care if
Gotcha.
esoterics get, like, you don't have the time to do that. So that's
Well,
one of the
that's pretty
pieces where, yeah, what's up, Scream? Shout out to
great.
some of the people tuning in. We got Mashari, we got McFly,
Oh,
MKS,
it's good
Oscar,
to see
said
you.
Fred. Yeah,
It is
chats are
really
popping
good to
off
see
this
you
morning,
guys.
guys. Shout out. Thank
Thank
you for
you.
all the
Thank
love.
you. It really means a lot to see you guys. You have no idea.
But each wave you go through gets harder. So first you'll start out with some easier guys, and it seems like the health on the Nightmare seems to get to be a little bit more. The Nightmare seems to rotate through most of the big guys that you would expect.
Mhm.
Um, but
He
I've
just
gone in
chases
with
you throughout. He just like
no,
hunts
no,
you
no,
like.
no. The boss is at the end. So what you'll do is you'll work on a percentage. So if I kill red bar guys, they're like 1%.
Gotcha.
The majors, they're gonna be like 5. The daemons, as you're in the infinite forest, they're gonna
Yep. Yep.
be they're gonna be a bigger chunk. So those guys definitely have some health, but you work them down, and they're worth bigger chunks. You need to give them 0 to 100%. When you get
Mhm.
100%, wherever you're at in that world, that branch they call them, you'll teleport to basically like a circular platform with the boss.
Mhm.
So you'll be there, ads will spawn, boss will spawn, melt the boss down. That's round one. Come back out,
Mm.
walk back out to basically another Vex, platform you stand on and it lights up.
Mhm.
The key is if you're going for like a record time, if you really want to make the most of it, when you come back out of the boss room, the timer's not running.
Mhm.
So you could wait, get your super up, get everything charged, and then kick off that next round. If you want to be 100% efficient and take
Yeah.
your time in there, that's how you do it. If you
Gotcha.
really wanted to wait on your super to be full every single time, that'd be what you do.
No
So
doubt. No
you
doubt.
can do
Wow.
that.
Mhm.
And then as you
Ch-
go through and kill more and more waves, you start getting modifiers against you. Attrition will come in,
Mm.
blackout will come in, and they're not always the same. It's different every run, so some of it's
Mhm.
just random luck on that. And
Gotcha.
sometimes you'll see a hive one where it's a whole bunch of curse thrall, and then other times you're going to see a whole bunch of centurions or minotaurs that are just absolutely wrecking you. So it is random all the way you go throughout. And I would
Mhm.
say this thing, I think, Dado kind of said it as well. I don't know if this would be something that you would want to do forever.
Right.
Um,
Rank
because I
it.
don't think
Let me put your gun to the test now. Put your head to the wall. We got to see now. If you had to rank this blind well escalation protocol, where does the haunted forest rank
between them.
as an activity?
Blindwell, Haunted Forest, and then top would probably be Escalation.
Okay, so you got it like right in the middle. You got
Yep.
it right in the. Okay,
No,
cool.
I would put it in the middle because Escalation still, to me, has a lot of mechanics and stuff. It adds up. The bosses are kind of unique, and it feels um, more worth it, I guess. And it
Yeah.
would be different, I think, if this was a longer piece where it had, yep, Chris Koba literally just said it, better loot in the Haunted Forest.
You better loot then.
So that's
Yeah.
the piece. Like, we're grinding for the 600 auto rifle, which is cool. I mean, it's a guaranteed, if you own Forsaken, it's a guaranteed 600. And you can spend your time and grind for it. Doesn't matter what level you are, because it's like a 200 activity. It scales you down. So it's a
Gotcha.
cool thing to be able to get. But if they needed it to be long term, there would need to be like triumphs for getting up levels. Clear 100 branches for this. There'd be bounties in there where you could do it for every week. There'd be powerful gear that you could work on grinding for. Those type of things is what would give it legs and length that it would need. But yeah, horror story is not enough because it's like I know over the course of 3 weeks I'll eventually get it. Not that concerned. Some of the masks are cool, but I think to make this longer term and really be like, hey, I got up to like wave 75 today, and you're like, holy crap, how long were you in there? Be like, I was in there for like 4 hours, man. That could be something like a solo person could sit there and literally work on for hours. But if you got up to 75, say like every 15, 20 levels, you get a piece of powerful gear. I
Gotcha.
mean, just find your way to make that thing worth spending the time on and make those like put the carrot on the stick out there. It has potential. I would say this is what Infinite Forest should have been from the start. This would have given Mercury more legs than it ever had.
Hold on,
So
I gotta cut you one second because we have Texas representation in the ILP chat, and I have to salute some non-Destiny lords that's in here showing some love. So shout out to J Dub in here in the Church of the Lords, getting that Destiny Flashpoint fix. Salute you, brother, and of course The diabolical Silver Sky 545 in the chat. That is what's up, man. Good to see you guys. There are not Destiny guys like that. There, I know. Oh, I know Silver Sky's not, and to see him in there is love. So I had to. He said, "I'm at work, wishing that I could watch Daredevil." Okay,
Yeah,
good.
that season came
You
out
got
today
watching
too. Yep.
Daredevil benefits me, brother. Thank you.
uh,
Continue. I just had to give Texas in the building, man. We had to show some love out here.
yeah. So Mishar in my chat said it pretty well. Escalation Protocol is fun, but you can barely 3-minute it. You do need that time where you got like 5, 6 people, where there's a whole bunch of people sitting around, because there's just a lot of crap going on. So I mean, 3 is tough. 4 is better, and now that we're over leveled, it helps. But it does have some of the best weapons in the game. So that grind, you are going to bash your head against that wall because you want what's there.
Yeah.
On the other side, Blindwell is fun, but after the bounties, what's the point? So,
Yeah.
I mean,
Right.
literally, like, what's the point in doing Blindwell? Because after you get your piece of powerful gear or your, Transcendent Blessing, Purification Ritual, and all that stuff, there is less purpose to do it. So that's kind of the balance between them. And that's why I'm wondering if these expansions are going to have activities that have legs and length to them. It's like Escalation Protocol is cool, but okay, say if you had all 3 weapons, and then like the armor set really doesn't ever help you that much. They need to have specific reasons. Like if there's an Escalation Protocol armor set, it needs to have like, maybe a unique perk to it.
Yeah, uniqueness. Yeah, I agree with you on
Yep.
that.
So that
100%.
type of stuff, it is when you play it, you'll have to let me know, because
Okay.
there's some cool pieces to it. I like how it has a lot of potential. Is it perfect? No, but I think it also is what a lot of people wished what we had from the start. So yeah.
No doubt. Fair enough. So
It's been
basically-
cool. Like for a 3-week event,
Cool.
honestly, it's awesome. For a 3-week event, great.
Yeah,
Um,
basically the 3-week event is cool. Basically what the vibe I'm getting is they repurposed this content that a lot of people didn't like.
Yep.
That with the Infinite Force, they actually made it a fun activity. It's intense, and the fact that you have it over Blind Well, and like I said, I don't despise Blind Well, but I do agree with you where you rank it.
Mhm.
But I mean, why you rank it the way you rank it. So to hear you say that gives me confidence that probably with a good 3-man squad, I will enjoy. You know what I'm saying? That content a bit. So yeah, this is cool. I'm feeling it.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? No doubt.
So yeah, it's just little things like what they're doing on the masks. Is like, I knew the masks were going to drop your level down, so I was kind of curious. But it's a 200 power level activity, so you're just scaled. But I like how those perks can actually level up. And this is something like I wish they could do for, like, give me more reason to run the raid. So say I get a full raid set, but if I work through and actually build up like raid clears or boss clears in the raid, and every time you do that, you're working on adding to like an intrinsic perk or like an upgrade that you can do to that piece of armor. This is the type of stuff that really needs to start being in the game more frequently. Like the mask, what they've done with the masks, give that to more cool places, just gives us more incentive to grind. As though we don't have enough, but yeah, that's kind of my little piece on just hunt. It's generally, I mean, it blows away Festival Lost before. It's not Festival of the Cost. We got the checklist. It's a knockout list. You've got, I think Eververse is in a decent spot. It's cosmetics, but you got the engrams dropping like all the time you level. And overall, I think this one is a very positive event. And this actually gives me a lot of more faith for what's coming in the future. So.
Shout out to all the rebellious lords at work right now listening to us now. Have a chat right now is at work listening. I find that very entertaining. So I want to shout
What are
you
you
out.
guys
Don't
doing?
get
You're doing a
fired, though.
podcast. What are you doing? I'm working. But I'm listening to you at the same time, killing my internet connection. So
Shout out to Mad, shout out to Slow Mo, Justin Workman, shout out to everybody at work. Getting it in, you know what I'm saying? Yes, sir. Silver Sky Heat. Yes, Ebontis knows a lot. That is the man. That is my Destiny brethren. What else we got?
But yeah, most everything else is the masks. You got the paper masks out there and stuff like that are kind of fun. But generally, the Haunted Forest, I think, was well done. The grind for Horror Story is not overly long, but still pretty good. So it's been fun. I think I was like, I kind of said Fred in my chats, quote, studying for an exam. Those are the biggest fake quotes I've ever seen. If you're half paying attention and you're in chat as much as you aren't studying. Just sit back, make some Pop-Tarts, and enjoy the morning.
There you go.
And then most of the TWAB, honestly, is pretty light, guys. So we're going to kind of bust through this and get to some patch notes. They got Jack-o'-lite patterns where you can literally put these on jack-o'-lanterns so you can actually like have some Destiny jack-o'-lanterns if you really want to make them.
Yeah.
They've got a video about the actual paper masks that you can get. But these are all like the stencils that you guys can see for the jack-o'-lanterns, which is cool.
Hmm.
So you've got like most of the symbols, a little Forsaken one, Destiny, Scorn. Some of them are a bit more detailed, but all in all, very cool. I don't envy anyone doing the bottom right snake one because that's a lot of detail.
Hmm.
But other than that, I'd say it's just some fun stuff in here. They've got a giveaway going on, the Rockstar Energy stuff going on, in-game competition. So I guess you earn points for completing matches, defeating guardians, getting precision kills, and I guess the top 4 players are in the qualifier round. I guess it's just like putting some time in with those bounties. I haven't even been paying attention to that much, but
Hmm.
some kind of cool looking stuff. So you've got hoodies, kind of a cool looking headset with Gambit on it. You've got a Rockstar Destiny controller and a damn like mini car. This basically looks like a little track
Yeah,
car.
that car's lit.
Yeah, so
I like
kind
it.
of an insane giveaway.
Yeah, that looks like a. Those are Astro helmets. Yo, the what you call is lit. That car, that's a real car. Like, what is that?
So cars like this are usually what you'd take to a track. I mean, the wheel in the back seems kind of obscure, but this is more like they make something called like a Caterham. My brother looked at one once, and it's
Mm,
basically like a motorcycle type open feel,
that's
but it'll have 3 wheels
cool.
because for more stability, so you can actually drive it around. But it gives you that more
Mm,
motorcycle feel. Very light frame. Probably depending, I don't know how much power this one would have, but it's usually a pretty good power to weight ratio. So you've actually got a really fast little speedy thing, so you get that nice like rush of air in your face. If you've ever heard of like an aerial atom, which is the next level of
got you.
this, same
Got
probable
you.
principle, just kind of a more stable bicycle or motorcycle.
Hmm. Okay.
So that's actually kind of an amazing giveaway. I'll be curious to see when that thing finally goes out there because you
That's
get a
serious.
piece
Yeah.
of transportation that is like you get a car. Like I
Get a
don't care how
car. They
big or small
basically
it
giving
is.
a car.
Yeah,
It's like a,
if
a, a mini Batmobile that they
yeah,
just giving away. All right.
yeah.
Okay, got
So that's no joke. Those are usually pretty cool. So
you. Hmm.
um, they got some patches they talk about. They got some bugs that were fixed. They got more bugs that are going on. Some scopes are being weird. Polaris Lance, the exotic perk, is kind of broken right now, so you can't actually do the masterwork. I think that's actually busted at the moment. So that's being worked on. Overall, if you guys haven't seen this, by the way, it's the Edge Transit of all Edge Transit videos. This is
It's
hilarious.
hilarious. I
They
mean,
changed everything to Edge Transit in there, which is good. But
yeah, hilarious. They clever.
and I haven't even seen the not Edge Transit. But
Mhm.
overall, that's kind of the 12 was like honestly it was probably the busiest week in Destiny, so it's also probably the
Yeah, they can get away with it like 12. It's just so much to do.
yeah.
You know, at the end of the day.
We got a patch though. Got some stuff to talk about briefly. Nothing too crazy that I can tell. Hunter, the one where you actually kill clip would not trigger if they use the marksman's dodge. That one's fixed. So little pieces like that.
Hmm.
Burning Maul Slam, triggering melee based perks. You got throwing hammers only can be picked up if your ability is not charged. I actually
That's
randomly though I've seen
hmm
the gif of the hammer flying back and forth, and actually saw a guy in a strike, and he was a hammer guy, and I picked it up, and then I threw it at him, and he realized what I was doing. He threw it back at me, and we are waiting for something to load, and we're just like throwing the hammer back and forth, and I was like, I love how they left that in the game.
Yeah, that's hot. That's hot. I like that.
So that one was pretty fun. Warlocks, you guys got quite a few fixes. You're not gonna
Yeah,
kill allies with the supernova, but you can take these if you want.
yeah. I grabbed the warlock stuff. I mean, it's. I got to be honest though. There's still that one that I still have not seen that I'm still very, very concerned about. You know what I'm saying? And we talked about was it Chaos Reach? You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah, being able to cut it off.
yeah, and I don't see that. So I guess I mean that was just one thing I want to comment. I mean, most of the stuff we've already been through, but I'm very concerned because again, when it came out, it was told to us that you can cut off your super and you would retain super energy. So the fact that now they have acknowledged it on a forum, they have acknowledged it on Twitter and Reddit, but it is yet to be mentioned on a patch note. That is concerning. That to me shows that the problem with Chaos Reach cutting off early is a bigger issue than they can handle. Because I've never seen them really avoid talking about something like
Yeah.
this. Have you ever seen something like this? I
No, I
don't
was
know.
like, I mean, they mentioned it before. It's like, and it's never been there, never talked about. So either they're like, we're probably not doing that, or it is something that's harder for them to stop a super
Yeah.
and try to find a way to balance it. Because if you just like I mean, I guess it'd be one of those things where how do you balance it for how many times can you stop it? What if I look at, if I invade Gambit,
Hmm.
I see somebody over there, blast them real
Hmm.
quick, turn it off. Okay, then come over here,
Right.
work my way around. Oh, I see a couple guys, blast, blast, turn it off. Like, you
Right.
could manage a whole lot more lethality for that thing when it's meant to be like Kamehame for a little while and then shut it
Right.
down. So there's that. I don't
Mhm.
know how you balance that because it could be
Yeah,
OP to a point in
it could be
PvP.
OP, and I get that. I guess what I at minimum what I was hoping for was, again, they're the ones that said when you cut off the super, it should retain at the stop, point that you stopped at, and you'd have whatever, so you don't waste it. Because the problem with the super is that when you use it, you stand in the air like a sitting duck, and you're very mobile. You're
Mm-hmm.
very stationary, right? You're looking at something, kami kami ha, your whole left side, right side, and back wide open, and you're forced to finish the animation out, right? This is what's detracting me from using the super. It's just such, again, if you see something, they're dead instantly. Like that part I will give it in lethality. But again, I'm very concerned now because, like, at least at my thing is this, at minimum, maybe like less than a fourth back at least. Like it goes to nothing.
Oh,
I, I
yeah.
can I can do 1 second of chaos reach and say, "Oh, I'm done." It goes down to nothing as if I had no super, and I got a problem with that. So we got to get that, we got to get that going, man. We got to get that going. But back to the, other Warlock updates. You know what I'm saying? Like, besides me complaining, was yeah, just the healing rift, well of radiant stuff where pretty much a white nail from was not working from this guy, the whisper, and stuff wasn't activating correctly, so that doing that hand fixed an issue where handheld supernova could deal damage to allies. I have seen that, it's quite funny. Fixed an issue where handheld supernova kills sometimes appear as killed by the architects in the obituary. I've had that happen. As far as the inconsistency, players will no longer perform the atomic breach melee ability when using the heavy attack of the escalation protocol sword. I did not know that. I wasn't aware that was a bug. Fixed an issue in which using the Phoenix protocol exotic chest with Well of Radiance could result in weapons not rendering. So looks like a UI thing. Carry go with Chaos Reach. Casting Chaos Reach with your back up against the wall will no longer block the beam. Glad they fixed that. Fixed an issue where Chaos Reach was dealing less damage at lower frame rates. Console. As a result, pl-
Join me.
listen, PC elitist. As a result, players may now notice an increase in total damage. Thank you for blessing us console plebs with the correct damage. On Chaos Reach must be a mess. Because you can't, like, if you put your up against a wall, you don't get the beam. If you're on a console, you get less damage. You shut it off early. It's not working. Like, Chaos Reach must be very difficult to manage and balance. But that's what I got. You can go with your armor and the weapons and finish that thing off.
Oh, you're good. But I mean, so it's kind of one of those you're asking about. So take any other super that
Hmm.
roams, that is
Yes.
basically going to run for an extended period of time.
Hmm.
Say Fist of Havoc, where you run around and slam. What if I slammed and shut it off?
Slammed and shut it off. Oh, you mean like
Yeah,
but
because you
here's
want
the
to be.
difference. But here's the difference. With your Fist of Havoc, remember you have full mobility to go wherever you want, turn around,
Right.
go back. I have none of that. I jump in the air
Yeah.
and I'm like, look at me and my fist as I shoot you from across the map. Now anything in my line of sight is dead. But anything on my right, do you know the turn radius is so
Oh,
slow?
I have the super.
It's so slow.
I know.
It needs work, man, and it sucks because it's the
Have you
most
used Code of the Missile? Because that's a one timer.
true. But
So that's a.
again,
But no,
go
I was
ahead, go
like, you
ahead.
have mobility to fly forward, but that's
Mhm.
my one use. You can hit guys across the map that I would be flying towards,
Right,
but I
right.
can't. But I was like, but it's also a one time bigger. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think part of them probably having to put their foot in their mouth right now is the fact that having to manage being able to turn something off. If you just like, if you see a guy and you quick blast him and turn it off real quick, then you run around, you're doing this other stuff, quick blast and turn it off. As it
I
can
get where
kill
you're going.
somebody so quick, I feel
I get
like
where you're
that's
going.
where the issue is. It's like, as for your sake though, they just need to
Mhm.
address because
Yeah,
technically it was said.
I completely understand. All I would say is if they're very concerned about that, then at least give it bring it down by default if you cut it off as a default like 25% or less, but don't give me nothing like that's just like, you know, it's just a slap in the face, because it's like, what's the whole point of turning it off early? You might as well just never have it turn off and then give the super more mobility then, and let me act like a true roaming super, because it's frauding as a roaming super. It's really not. You cannot move. You're up in the air and you're stationary, and you can just turn like you're shining a light on objects.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
You
You know,
can
so
get quite a decent like area covered though. Like I mean, if you get decently high up in the air and you've got some guys like down below you and out farther ahead, you can cover multiple areas as opposed to say like a Nova Bomb hits one area and you're done. I think can actually cover multiple areas, not amazingly, but it has a
right,
chance to like work a
right.
couple points like
That's where you go.
so there's
Where
some
you go.
spread to it, but no, I understand. It's like for you, you just like I want an answer. I just want an
That's all
answer.
I
That's all
want.
you want.
I've
Yep.
never seen Bungie do this, and it's like the super I care about. It's so crazy because it's that power fantasy for a while. Like we really Titans live in that realm. You got that, you know, they have power fantasies with a lot of their supers. This is the first one where I'm like, yeah, okay, what? Kami, face me if you want. Like you want to feel strong, you want to feel good. You can melt with your hand, and I guess this is very surprising that they continue to not mention it on a TWAB, and it's been like 3 weeks now. Like this is very concerning me. So to me, again, I infer that this is really game breaking, and they're really struggling with the code of this thing, because I've never seen this in the history of Bungie, and people are complaining and no mention.
Um.
Random.
So yeah, no, you're good. A couple pieces on armor. Lucky pants will no longer reload hand cannons if they aren't stowed. Scavenger perks. A couple pieces of armor were like blocking view, so they're just kind of fixing some tweaks here and there. Honestly, one of my best ones just for the weapons
Mhm.
is Dylan got this one in there. Fixed an issue where 1,000 voices would sometimes speak at the volume of 100,000 voices. I love just how that was phrased. It's
Yeah.
just a joke because you heard about that like glitch where it basically will like break your sound.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
they had a joke for it, right? The fixed 1,000. What was the joke? With damage, they
He
actually
said,
put it in the swap notes.
yeah, he's like, fixed an issue where 1,000 voices would sometimes speak at the volume of
What
100,000 voices.
classic? I
Yeah,
love
so that was, he's like, and he even tweeted out, he's like, I was trying to get one little thing like this in there somewhere, and I was like, this was pretty good. So, just random tweaks here and there. Most of the stuff is just kind of fixes. They said they fixed an issue where like dynamic sway reduction and Zen moment wouldn't function in like with Lunafaction Rift, or
it.
buffed aim assist on linear fusion rifles, but they did reduce the aim assist on sleeper simulant. By the way, heads up. Everybody go do the quest for the Haunted Forest at a minimum, because you get a free Fighting Lion and you get the
Yes,
Catalyst.
which I have to do.
Yes.
Correct.
So
Correct.
go do that because it's a guarantee to have the Catalyst and be done with it. Chris Karoba said he actually got it in a random drop. He hasn't touched it
Mhm.
yet. So I guess it is in the loot pool as well, because the event obviously will stop. So there had to be some other place to get it. But if you just want to guarantee Catalyst and be done worrying about it, knock it out. It takes like, I don't know, half an hour. So it's a pretty easy one to get. Other than that, just random little tidbits here and there. Don't need to go through them all. If you guys want to check them out, you can. A couple fixes for Gambit. Just Gambit quitter penalties have been re-enabled. You've
Yes.
got clan engrams not functioning properly, which is good. Shield walls not spawning at the beginning of a match where you guys could kill each other. As you guys know, the changes to Iron Banner, so most of the bounties are less, and all of them are powerful, which is honestly cool.
Hmm.
Um, and then, capture the waypoint no longer progresses.
Hmm.
Little pieces here and there. And overall, just like little stuff. So if you guys want to read the patch notes, I try not to read these verbatim. You
Yeah.
guys have eyes you can read. I know you're at work, but you can read them later.
Clearly, they got a lot of time at work.
Yeah, you guys can, pull it up at work,
We
wherever
love
you
it.
at. Yeah.
The J.
Nah, it's all good.
We love that y'all risking your jobs. We love that, man.
um, but yeah, just overall items in the economy, little stuff here and there, like,
Hmm.
fixed an issue where the Last Wish, Ghost, and Sparrow were not dropping at the intended drop rates, just little stuff. So, I mean,
Hmm.
it's mostly minor patches that I noticed overall. They mentioned some.
Shout out to Scout Rifles, though. We didn't really hint on that.
Yeah,
Shout out
so
to
they did
Scout
get their
Rifles
15% buff.
getting their bump in PVE. Got a chance to mess with a couple. Felt really good. You know what I'm saying? I'm sad though because I really wanted to dust off Polaris Lance, but then now I've heard that there is a bug with that. I think we may have missed that, but yeah,
Do you have that already done though?
bro, I got my Polaris is lit. I got the
No, it's
catalyst.
not. It's not broken. It's if you're trying. Well, the okay, we'll say the explosion isn't working. So yeah, you're right.
Yeah, because I just that's like the super perk of it, just to add a little extra sauce to it. The gun is good without it. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong. It's just that when you work to get that, you want to get the full thing of it. So,
yeah,
so I put it back, in the bench. We'll get it out. Well, hopefully they'll get that joint fixed. So we'll see. Hmm.
yeah. But yeah, patches out there. You got Gambit doing its meatball thing this week. You got Shattered Throne. You got Iron Banner. You got Haunted Forest. It's kind of crazy. I know we're gonna work on rambling here for just a little bit, but if you guys are in chat right now, feel free to drop a question. Just kind of want to open it to you guys for Q&A. For any of you guys out there in chat, if you got questions for us, couple topics to kind of wrap stuff up here. But how for you has Iron Banner been this week? Because I honestly haven't touched it on my end. Like, how's been just like the playing? Like, are you solo? Are you teaming? How's Iron Banner been for
I've
you?
been doing a lot of solo. So Banner's been good. I mean, I've been looking up. There's been some things out here in these streets, y'all, that we got to talk about. The meta has shifted. There is a weapon, man. I can't forget. I'm forgetting the name right now, and it's not Luna's Howl. It's another weapon. I believe it's a raid. It's chatter something. Some
Shattered. I know what you're talking about. Shattered Horn or Shattered Throne.
Yeah, Shatterhorn. Oh Lord, be on the lookout for this, y'all.
Is that an auto rifle
I think it's an auto. There's a
or a
Shatterhorns
pulse?
in front of. They was lacing my go figure. That's the first time my go figure. There's
Is it
two guns
Chattering
like
Bone?
maybe it's shatter something. I
I
can't
gotta
remember. Off the
look
top.
up the
Kids was owning me
raid
with that
names.
gun. I was staying away from that beef. I didn't want no smoke with that. That's the only two guns right now that I have fear of my go figure is that and shout out to obviously the Lunar Howl guy. But those guys earned it. They went in competitive. They did the ground. Chatterbone. Yep, there it is. Yeah, Chattering
Yeah,
Bone.
Chattering Bone. Yep.
That's it. Yeah, it's Sweatfest. I like the sweat, so let's go. But at the end of the day, just giving you. And here's the new the shoddy that's disgusting right now. Toil and trouble.
Yep. People can actually get it now. They got that Nightfall grind in.
Ooh, toil and I'm talking about mapping people. Like toil and trouble is just disgusting as a shotgun. Like it's worse to me than chaperone, in my opinion. Because at least chaperone has some skill. You got to hit the head, get the hit box on that. But yeah, that's the only thing I noticed. Other than that, I mean, I don't know if it's because of my skill level and I was carrying teams and stuff like that, and on sixes, but I still did okay. Yeah, I still did okay solo. Yeah, we had a couple of ones where I jumped in and getting like wrecked off the top. But for the most part, I was handling because I think again with Banner, with the three cap mechanic, and when those wolves, oh, that's what I had to talk about. Shout out, I want anybody in the chat, either Ebontis chat or ILP. Let me know, is it me? But when I was playing, anybody's playing Iron Banner this week, when you triple cap, it feels like Lord Saladin has new audio in the game, and he's saying something like, "Yeah, let the wolves howl, start the hunt." Like I don't recall him saying any of this. Like
I'm trying to.
am I
I mean, I
bugging?
played some Iron Banner before. There were so many power plays last time through. They
Yeah.
actually changed that bounty, by the way.
Okay.
I don't.
Mhm.
I'll have to jump in. I mean, I'm gonna play because triples this weekend.
Yeah.
Triple Valor starts at noon for me.
Mhm.
But okay, shout out to the guy in my chat with his name. I want you to read it.
All right, let me see. Let me see.
Hold on. Just talked about toil is good stuff. Do you see that?
Yeah.
What's
Butt Fuel
up,
81.
butt fuel?
What's up, baby? What's going on? You out here?
Oh man, you guys names kill me sometimes. So I was like par five, said Fred. Oh my god, it's cool.
Before
And then butt fuel.
he's the 81. That's why I
Are you
respect
one of those on PS4 who really wants to change your name? I can only imagine. Honestly, that's some of the little stuff they never mention. They may add like little audio tweaks in here, or the guns get like a complete patch. Like
Yeah.
all the guns sound different when they do like Forsaken's expansion. Stuff like that
Mhm.
is the little stuff they don't mention, but always adds just that little extra. And you're like, oh, new lines. It's not like you
Very
play
cool.
Madden for a year and you hear the same commentary over and over and over. It's like they
Mhm.
they put stuff in that they don't have to. They can leave the guns always sounding the same.
And just for reference, it's the new dialogue that I hear from Saladin on a triple power play.
Mm-hmm.
It's different for both the aggressive team that has it and the team that is being power played against, because it's like the wolves are howling, hide, it's almost over, or something like that. Like it's basically this whole wolves are coming for you theme whenever the power play happens now. And it's funny to hear Saladin say that in the middle of a Crucible match. I thought it was a nice touch. It was funny. So check that out. At least I'm not bugging. It is sounds like it is new. And it's something that's cool. But yeah, that's pretty much it as far as how it's been. The meta's still been pretty strong with that. I'm still trying to get my Regix grind. I'm taking advantage of the double XP, triple XP, all that good stuff,
Yeah.
and getting some armor and some good stuff out of there. So that's been pretty much it for me on that.
Nice.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, mine's been, I got Shattered Throne done, which
Nice.
does a lot of work. Because we were planning to do like, hey, let's do the Nightfall, the 100K, that stuff. We're getting up there for the 100Ks, by the way. Shout out to that being more of an option now. If you guys are working on your Nightfalls,
Mhm.
modifiers that are probably going to work with a team, probably would go for match game and just communicate. So you each have one side covered,
Yes.
extinguish, and then blackout. Run with those three, you'll get a solid buff. And now, honestly, once you're high enough level, because I was playing with one person who's like 560, so we only dropped it like, or he's like 565, so we dropped it like 25 points. But like once you're up to like 600, you can drop that thing like 50, 55, 60. You're just going to be swimming in points after a little while. So if you guys are working on that grind, I'll eventually when I'm 600, I'll work on that 100,000 solo, which will take some work. But if you can't even matchmake, find a couple people to play with. The 100,000 is not as daunting as it sounds. Just once you're up at a decent level, the multiplier makes basically all of it worthwhile. But if you run with those three and communicate, be like, hey, I got can't even think of the damn bow, the void bow.
Can't remember off top.
Yeah, I know.
Off top.
But it's like, hey, we got void stuff. Okay, I got void. Okay, we got solar. You're running, sleeper for use. You take care of that, and we're all running arc for whatever the singe is going to be, and just communicate and run through it. Honestly, they've been going pretty reasonably. Like
Yeah.
I've run with different people, different levels, skill level stuff like that. It's really not too bad as long as you
Nice.
guys kind of communicate. They do seem to go. Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Blackout, extinguish, and match game. Absolutely. So yeah, I was like, Nightfalls are cool because those are becoming another option. Because before it was just like, I just want to finish the Nightfall. Subtle Calamity, thank you, Fred.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That helped us out right there. Mm-hmm.
So it's like, that's cool. It's like, Iron Banner, I got to jump in. So do not forget, Triple Valor starts in literally 2.5 hours through reset, I think, actually. So spend some time in there. You got 7 powerful gear drops from bounties. So just live an Iron Banner. Everything else can wait. But again, if you haven't done Shattered Throne, if you haven't stepped into Shattered Throne, step in there. Even if you're by yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So even if you're by yourself, just go step in Shattered Throne. Damn, Chris Cobra almost 200K last night. See, yeah. That's what I was like. You can start doing it. Once you get close to 600, drop that point level. I mean, if you go 600 and you drop a 60-point deficit, you're still at the recommended level. And then you add those modifiers on there, you're going to be getting like 5x or more. It gets crazy. So definitely getting some big points in there. But I was like, there's so many cool options right now. 7 powerful gear drops just from Crucible. That's unheard
Yeah,
of.
that's huge, and that's why my behind is in there.
I got to get my behind in there. So
I gotta get them powerful gear, man. You say I'm a fiend when I see powerful gear on the map. Well, who got that powerful gear? Let's go.
so yeah,
man, I'll be living in there. But thanks, shout out, like I said, Jimbo. Thank you for telling me. I have to do Hunter Forest for multiple reasons now. Obviously, to get my fighting line catalyst, which I keep forgetting about.
Yep.
From my understanding, they give you the fighting line at light level appropriate, right?
Yep. I got mine at like 592 or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so that, and then on top of that, obviously getting in there and getting that weekly, whatever the grind is, and get that popping, so I can get the what you gonna masterwork course. And I love that Silver Sky is not a Destiny guy. Says I literally have no idea what you guys are talking about. Shout out to Silver, you coming in the realm of the Lords, man. I gotta get you on the show. You are hilarious.
Nice.
But yeah, man, that's all I got, bro.
Yeah. So I wanted to ask you this because shout out to you guys as well. Chat's been awesome this morning. Got a guest coming in a few weeks. Don't want to let it go yet, just so once we confirm.
We got that heat. Flashpoint got that heat.
No, but got a cool guest coming. Just somebody I've been in touch with for a while. Just a really cool guy. Definitely in
Mhm,
the Destiny community. If you guys are in this world, you'll probably know.
mhm,
And this is a question I want to ask him. So, taking a little bit from the ILP, because you did it to me, I get to do this
mhm.
to you.
Oh, I'm ready.
Top 3 Destiny moments since D1's release.
Wow, man, you putting that's like choosing your kids.
Okay, heads up. If you guys have, so for everybody in my chat, if you guys haven't listened to ILP, and if you don't, go over there, subscribe to Iron Lord's podcast, listen to
Much
them.
appreciated.
But basically, what he'll do if you're on there for the first time, because he threw me on there, he's going to be like, all right, you're going through doing a cool intro. What have you been playing? All right, got to put you on the spot. Top 5 game genres, franchises, all time.
Give
And
me
you're
back.
like,
You give me
top.
back.
No, yeah, but I was like, I had to do that, and I was like, oh my, okay, and you're just on the spot. You're like, I've been a gamer for life. I love so many games. I don't know, like you don't know what to say. So, bam, right now, top 3 Destiny moments ever.
But this, all right. But here's the thing. All right, hey, I'm giving you games. Like you're saying moments. So like that is so broad. Like all right. Let's get some criteria.
Or
Right.
like 3 or 5, but I mean, no, but it's like, what are those, like, what has been like most
Mhm.
memorable times? Whether,
Oh, memorable times.
I mean,
Okay. All
memorable,
right. All
oh, I
right.
would say more moment, because I want, like, I don't want to be like, yeah, my first time clearing. I mean, was it your first time like clearing a raid or something like that?
Mhm,
But
mhm.
I want like single specific moments.
Something accomplishment that me, Lord Cognito, have personally done, or
Yeah.
just
No, not
pin.
everybody else.
Okay.
You've been holding the controller and it happened
Oh,
to
okay.
you.
Okay. Now I got you on that. I got you. I
Yep.
got you. All right. So I'm. This is not any specific order yet because I'm just
No,
gonna
yeah,
throw them
that's
based
fine.
on memory first.
Yep.
One of them would be Silver Sky go shut his mic off. The first demo convinced me to buy it. Okay. Not that. Okay. So what I would say is getting to the lighthouse was
Ooh,
very special to me.
that's a good
I've
one.
only been to the lighthouse, full disclosure, one time. That was it. And part of the run to get there, I was a Sunsinger Warlock and I was cheesy, and my team got wiped, did 2 clutch reses, and killed the other squad. That was part of like the 8th win on route. Because I had some killers with me, man. I had some shooters. They were good.
Nice.
And they were like, look, man, just support role, do your thing. So I would definitely say yes. Getting to the lighthouse, D1, Trials of Osiris, definitely in one of my top moments. Another top moment has to be Oryx hard mode. We were failing all night. I was like, F this, I don't care. If my ego, I don't have that completion. I think it was for I was trying to do moments of triumph or whatever it was, so you get a t-shirt. Remember that t-shirt that you needed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I was like, all right. And we didn't have an organized group. We were messing up. It wasn't looking good. Shout out my man Frodo. He knows this story like the back of my eye. I repeat it every time when it comes to Destiny and Oryx. Um, we just had a very tight run. And we were like, hold on, we're gonna do it. We're getting sent to the ascendant plane. We came back. We go and get the blights. We're doing our thing, and we did it. And we beat Oryx on hard mode. And that fight was epic. So that is definitely up there. All right, let's see. I don't want to just say all raidy stuff, but raids are up there, man. Raids are up there.
It's kind of why I'm
Hmm.
asking this question, by the way.
Yeah, it's raids. You know what I'm saying? So I guess the third one, I'll cap it at 3. I would say the wonder of of the vault. Just doing it. Just like what is this? Oh my bad. Wilhelm Scream. Shout out to Wilhelm Scream. I added 4th one after this one. Wilhelm Scream just made me think about something. I'm an idiot. But definitely would just be the wonder of the Vault of Glass. Just what is this raid thing that Destiny players are all going crazy about, right? When we hit the soft cap and you had to get to level 30, shout out to my squad. They helped me grind through. I was strong enough to get in. You get in, and you're just like, yo, what is this? And you delve deeper, the jumps, the mystery, the Gorgon, Atheon fight, and then the drops, the legendary drops, just like, the Fate Bringer and, like the Mythic Class, just all these legendary weapons in that raid. And now you're like, yo, I have to do this every week because this guy got this. And you know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why Vault is very special to me. It was just so well done. A great introduction to end game content. 6 people, and you're gonna fight with your people. You're gonna, everyone has their own idea or own strategy of how to do things. Great. And I gotta say, because of the classicness, and shout out to Scream for mentioning drops, my first Galahorn. Oh my lord. Oh my lord. That gun, it was elusive. The elitism that went on with that gun when you got it, how powerful it was in its in initial form. Galahorn is special. Galahorn was so crazy that LFG groups would say they would treat you like an outsider. No galley, no carry.
Oh yeah.
You're not getting in here. So yeah, man. I mean, Galahorn is iconic when it comes to Destiny. There's nothing, just the way it looked alone was this majestic rocket launcher with the wolf's head and the tracking, the wolf pack rounds. They had to nerf that thing. That thing was so beast. Like, Galahorn is special, man. So yeah, no, I can do four for right now. If I think of a fifth one, I'll let you know. But I'll stop at four. Those are my four: Lighthouse, Oryx Hard Mode, Atheon, just the whole raid of the Vault of Glass as an end game content, and of course, the iconic Galahorn rocket launcher. What do you got,
Me?
Ebontis?
All right. First one for me has got to be 2 Manning Crota.
Oh, you're a savage.
So it was
You're
a
a
buddy of
beast.
mine that I play with, and we're like, hey, we want it, and we flawlessed it too. That's how we flawlessed it. So we flawless 2 manned Crota because we're like, all right, let's go and let's learn these fights, see what it takes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and worked our way through trying to figure out what it was. Spent a couple hours, and honestly, we did it like in a night. Spent a
Mm-hmm.
couple hours, worked on it, and then we're like going through. And it's that moment of you're like, okay, who's running the sword, who's on the back wall shooting the rockets, make sure you're in the right place, make sure it's good. And it came together for us like quicker than I ever thought it would. And then
Nice.
when that happened, you're in that clutch moment. It's like, all right, you got to jump up, jump down. Okay, wait for the call outs, just talking to each other, working through. It's you and one dude, like about to finish a whole raid. It was so crazy. So yeah, 2 Manning Crota, like the whole thing with one of my really like almost my best friends was awesome.
Nice. Nice.
That's one of the coolest ones because that is how we got the flawless raider, which most people still didn't have in D1.
Yes. Classic
I was like,
achievement. I
so
got mine in Crota
that's
too.
yep,
Yep.
yeah, most people
Mm-hmm.
probably did, I think,
Most
because
people
after
did.
that, yeah, Taken King was
Mm-hmm.
hard.
Mm-hmm.
See, I can't say Lighthouse because I was literally backpacked there and I know it. So it was cool to go there, but like it felt like they were so good of the 2 people I played with that I felt like I could do more. But
Mm-hmm.
just being with them showed me how crappy I really was. Like it was.
Yeah, you notice the levels in it. When
Oh,
it's
there's
spinning
like
and
there's
twirls.
people on a absolutely different level of that game, and I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, I don't even understand how you guys are getting away with what you're doing right now. But like, hats off to you because thank you for the backpack. So
No doubt.
that one I can't do. It's an awesome moment. It was only there one time, but I was like, I definitely
Mm-hmm.
got the accomplishment. See, I was like, it's hard. It's like for me
It's
too. It's
hard.
tough.
It's hard, man. Let's
I was like,
go.
for me, probably almost. It's got to almost be soloing one of my first Nightfalls when you couldn't die. And I can't honestly tell you which one it was because it's been so many of them. But that literally is one of the reasons why I have a YouTube channel. Is soloing a Nightfall, getting the feel for it, spending the time to. Shout out to Pyro Gaming as well. It's one of the guys who kind of gave me one of my first shout outs and gave me a little boost. But the way he kind of described me is one thing I didn't even realize I was doing. It's just literally my mind how it works. Sometimes it was the Shield Brothers. That's got to be one of my better solos. Is the Shield Brothers Nightfall solo? Brutal.
That's the birth of Ebontis or soloist. That's the birth. That's when I gave you the title. I hated that strike.
It's rough.
I despised it.
But I was
Oh
like, I
my
played that
goodness.
so many times. It's like depending on what modifier is up, if like specialist was up that week or whatever, and you could snipe and it'd be like, okay, get your powerful sniper, get your 3-shot. I still didn't have the when I was doing some of that. The
Hmm.
can't even think of the raid sniper from Wrath, but because that was actually a really good one. Um,
Oh yes, I know what you're talking about.
yeah, because
Yes.
that had the like really good perk for
Hmm.
ammo. But I was like, I had the point where it's like, okay, 3 sniper shots. You want to do about 180, 185,000 damage. Get that first guy to move. Turn around. Look over here. Wait for these guys. Rocket these guys. Wait for these 3. Play a ring around the rosy with the guy while you're working his health. Like the amount of time
Hmm.
I spent in Nightfalls when I crossed that one off,
Big one.
that was a big one.
That's a big
Now for me, I'm almost about to shoot myself in the foot because that's actually not the hardest one I did.
one. Talk to me.
The hardest one I ever did, and I got someone to delete a character for it out of sheer accident.
What?
So somebody literally put a comment in my video because I
Hmm.
soloed. The hell was the big shank?
Hmm. Oh, I know what you're talking about. It had exclusive drops for that shank.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I can't
I know what
remember the
you're talking
dude's
about.
name. So
Hmm.
that strike, and I did it on like my Titan for whatever week it was. It was crap modifiers, and I did it on my Titan. I was like, oh, all right, I got through it. Holy crap.
Hmm.
Somebody literally put a comment, and I was just like, hey, and I didn't even realize, really know it was there, but I think I was working on it anyway.
Hmm.
And I was like, hey, if you can do this on your Hunter
Hmm.
in the same week, because Hunters are still just squishy as hell. They always were.
Hmm.
If you can do this on your Hunter, because it was like next to awful modifiers. Saber Strike. Thank you, thank
Yes.
you, thank you. Smiggin.
Hmm.
Yeah, if I could do this, so if I soloed it on my Hunter, and they're like, I will like either delete a gun or delete one of my characters, and
Hmm.
literally like sit before I could even say, hey, don't do it.
Yeah.
It was literally like sent me a tweet showing me the delete gif, and I was like, oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Wow, that's crazy.
So like
Wow.
between the two Nightfalls, those are definitely up there for me, just because those are. So
Hmm.
the Shield Brothers, like I learned that strike to how to just screw with
Facts.
that boss. But Saber with my
Facts.
Hunter, that was one of those that's one of those I bashed my head against the wall for hours trying to do that. So those were definitely up there. And then probably I actually haven't finished Last Wish yet, so I know that one's probably going to be up there when I do it full and legit because I know people are cheesing it. But yeah, I gotta say, hard mode Oryx is definitely
Yes.
near the top. So
So
much orchestration, and honestly, because typically I'd be like, I don't really care who's in there, I'm gonna run
yeah,
because I was good at running. I was
running.
honestly, yeah, running the like doing the platforms, like being the
Hmm.
like that guy. I was like, I was faster than I'd be like watching people up there, and they're almost getting the time to do. I was like, I'm dropping down
Hmm.
before the ship's even gone. Like I got really
Exactly.
good at that. So, and that was being able to run a raid, being the one who's got to do those couple moments in the clutch.
Facts.
When you're doing what's the big Golgoroth? I got to the
Yeah.
point where I'd be like, all right, all 5 of you go down there. I'm gonna solo this part. I would
Hmm.
solo like taking all the shots and then breaking the
Wow.
thing above because I'd
Wow.
go like it was either pulse or auto, hit his back, pull his
Hmm.
attention, hit the orbs, and then switch right over to my heavy, which was Quillam's Terminus, I think,
Middle terminus.
and then
Hmm.
pop the orb, and all 5 would be down there, so we'd get so much more damage because all were waiting to shoot. So it was like when I got to
Yes.
just those pieces. So yeah, King's Fall hard,
Hmm.
that one, soloing, and honestly soloing the Nightfall, and then the 2-man Crota. Those have got to be mine up there for
Yeah,
sure.
no
So
doubt. These are good ones, man. Those are
no.
good. Yeah, I'm impressed. You put me on the spot, man. You chat made fun of me.
Hey,
he's like,
that's
look at Cognito, sad friend. He's like, look at Cognito gonna run around. He caught me out there, man. I wasn't expecting it.
yeah, because you do it to everybody else. It's the only time I get to do it to you. So yeah. So any future guests that we do have on there, that question is
Yes,
gonna
I
happen
like
because
that.
I mean most of us who I think would probably be in this long enough have been doing it for a while. So.
Yeah, absolutely,
Um,
definitely.
But yeah, so I
Hmm.
wanted to kind of wanted to throw that one out there. So we won't do that obviously every time, but yeah, if we got some
Right,
guests, they'll get to see that one.
absolutely. I
But
like
yeah, so
that.
it's going to be November 9th will be the guest.
Mhm.
Definitely looking forward to that one. We'll still probably have some others, I'm sure, as we work through, but
Yes,
that's
sir.
that's a
Yes, sir.
pretty solid one. Chat this morning, you guys have been kind of amazing
Amazing.
this morning, and shout out to all you guys who have joined my world recently. Um,
Yes.
it's been like just about a month since that video
Hmm.
came out and exploded,
Yeah.
and my world has like doubled in subs. So I'm still in the small like side of things, but for me, it's been crazy. So thank you guys for all that support lately. But also, if you guys are new to my world, go join iLord's podcast world as well.
Thank you,
Absolutely step
sir.
over there. It's YouTube, Iron Lords Podcast. It can't go wrong. If you like the long form podcasts, you're already here, so I know you do. And go join the Iron Lord podcast if you like gaming at all. If you've been doing it
Exactly.
since you were like, if you're our age now, where we're mature and we've been around since
Hmm.
8-bit Nintendo and stuff like that.
Hmm.
Um, Other
Appreciate it,
historic
bro.
stuff, awesome interviews. I mean, yeah, shout out to Cognito. Just, yeah,
Thank you,
got
sir.
an awesome thing running over there. So always
Appreciate it,
good
man.
quality stuff in there. So definitely check those guys out. Another way to entertain your week on Sunday. And if you're busy on Sunday, go check it out on iTunes and stuff. It's a great way to knock out usually a couple hours. So it's awesome.
Much appreciated. And for those obviously who love gaming, I'm actually gonna surprise them. We have a big giveaway going on. So if you forget, I just put the link in your chat.
Ah, there we go. Absolutely.
So look, listen, guys. Red Dead, is coming. For all the guys a fan of Red Dead, Iron Lord podcast, we have a big giveaway right now. I just put the link in the chat. So sign up. Like I said, sub to the channel, and you guys get a chance to enter a digital copy of either on PlayStation or Xbox. If you guys have those, if you want Red Dead, this is your chance. You know what I'm saying? So we're doing this giveaway, just kind of giving back to community and stuff like that. To thank you guys for rocking with us. And man, I am very, very happy to do this show with my brother right here. Flashpoint is so much fun. Chat was absolutely amazing. And obviously, every Sunday, if we're going to do our outros, is the
Yep.
Lord's Day. You know what I'm saying? So every Sunday and during football season, 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will have a guest. We'll actually have Rick Lagnese, and he's the community director of Kingdom Come Deliverance. So community manager. He's going to be on. We're going to talk some Kingdom Come Deliverance, but also we're going to talk about the new DLC that dropped and just also regular gaming. What's going on in the gaming community? Please check that out. Sunday, 11 a.m. Eastern on Iron Lord Podcast channel. Everything stays here now. So like I said,
Yep.
you gotta search for us anywhere. We're right here on the YouTube channel. Appreciate the support. Please appreciate the shout outs from Ebontis. Please, all my supporters, you know what I'm saying? Isla, please subscribe to Ebontis. It's the best walkthroughs in the game. The Bob Ross of Destiny.
I told you that one time, and you're never gonna let it go.
I'm never gonna let it because that's what you are. And it's just man,
Got
it's
this
just
happy little
quality.
drag over here.
Let's just look right over
Yeah.
there.
Put this happy little bush.
Exactly.
No.
There's a little Vex over there. Don't worry about that. Never mind that drag. No, but real talk, man. Guy, high quality content, and the key with him, he talks to you in a way that you don't feel overwhelmed. And for a beginner, a person who does not work in a fire team, he is fantastic. The soloist, the Nightfalls, the Whisper, you got it, man. And just to see his growth is tremendous. So, my bro, very proud to do the show with you. We got a lot of things cooking.
Yep. Well, I'm humbled again. About to blush on the. Can't blush on radio per se, but if you could see me, got that going.
Sir.
I've been trying to figure out because I got a green screen a while ago. I'm trying to figure out a good milestone to pop my face on some videos.
Let's go.
I'm like
Give him a-
20s close. 20s actually not as far as I honestly thought it would be, which is just stupid for me to say. I'm like 19,150 at this point. So, kind of thinking maybe 25 if I can get to that.
Okay.
Maybe do a
Let's do
face
25.
reveal. So, because people have been asking for a while, and I'd be like,
Okay.
might do face reveal around 25. So if you guys want to spread any love or words out there to get people to sub to see my face, not as though
Nice.
you guys want to look at it. Not saying it's not saying it's great to look at, but now you can see
Listen,
probably
this
my.
man is more cognito than cognito. These people see me, and I got a caricature of myself on my Twitter. We got to get Ebontis out the shadows, man. Jesus, he's more ninja than me.
No, just like I don't know. It's just kind of one of those that, yeah, it's probably about that time because some people like to see little faces, and it's getting up there. And honestly, you guys probably would just enjoy a little bit of the ridiculous comments a bit more if you can see the facial expression to go with them.
Exactly,
So
because it's fun bothering him, and I need to see his live reaction when I make him cringe. So let's get the petitions up for Ebontis' face. Well, let's
But
get out of here.
seriously,
Put a
guys,
pin up on
like
that, bro.
I've been humbled by everything recently, and I want to thank all you guys, um, and just everything we got going. Just the chat has been great. The growth in the podcast has been awesome. You guys checking it out. The channels are both going good. Just all good things. And I mean, Destiny's it's just a great time to be a gamer. And honestly,
Nice.
it's a bad time to be an adult. So that being said, you guys know where to find me. It's Ebontis everywhere: Twitch, Twitter, and YouTube. If you haven't subscribed, followed either or both of us, yeah, do it. You always know what's
Yes.
coming. We got good quality stuff coming to you guys, and Friday is pretty much a wrap. So just about 2 hours as usual. Random tangent to start it out for half an hour definitely boosted our time.
Hmm.
But thank you guys all very, very much. You guys have been awesome. We will see you next week. And that's all I got.
That's all we got, man.
All
Everybody
right.
enjoy their day.
See you soon.
Peace.